want to capture this as we're talking about it. So yeah, Echo, if you could kind of repeat, before we get started on today's lesson, repeat the homework. And she sent a picture across the thread so you can take a look at it on WhatsApp. Did a good job. And go ahead and say, can you kind of just summarize what you just told me?
Yes, so I did the homework last night. I thought I was quite proud of myself because the main thing is because I didn't know I was going to be able to do it. And I was just talking to Leah that I thought what she taught us last time in the very beginning of the class was very, very helpful because uh, um, Angie, I think you missed that part because but I was just gonna share it. So she Leah gave us a little let us she showed us a kind of a small, almost abstract painting type of thing with lines, and then every
It was a
single one of us
small
was
piece
we
of
were
that.
so
Yeah, it was a small piece of
yeah
that bigger drawing, and it was
yes
upside down.
yes. So we didn't know what it was, and some of us we thought it was tree branches. Some of us thought it was kind of
A
abstract,
river.
yeah, the river. So it was lines, and I think it was uh, everyone could do it. So we kind of draw that, we copied that, and then it turned out it was part of a Picasso painting that was the portrait of a man. That was
And it
our
was his
homework.
legs. It was his
Yes,
legs, big
yes.
legs.
So last night I did that. I thought it was very helpful knowing that I was able to paint or draw part of that. And then I was telling myself I didn't have to worry about the concept of a man, of a portrait, or of the fact that it's a Picasso painting. You just have to basically draw line by line, and at the end of 1 hour 40 minutes you have a portrait. So that's what I did. I thought it was a very fun and rewarding experience.
And so we were just talking about this, that the biggest issue when you're starting to learn to draw, and like obviously, Angie, you have a little drawing experience already. So you're doing some things unconsciously, but you don't know what you're doing. So my job is to explain to you structurally what you're doing. And essentially, what happens is if you know, we can divide like drawing into 5 simple shapes, families of shape. I think you might have seen this from the video. That's what we talked about. If you know what you're drawing, it's harder to draw it. You have concepts and ideas that you lay on top of it. So if you do that whole exercise, kind of square by square, which is how I showed you how to do it, folding it up upside down, for much of it, it's much easier to copy the sections, to draw the sections where you don't know what it is. The moment you know, oh, that's fingers, right? Or that's his head and a glasses, immediately you start trying to do things, your left brain starts trying to do things with that that aren't really what's happening. And that's because, well, I mean, in short, what's happening is we're translating 3 dimensions to 2. So shapes change when you do that. They become more dramatic. You need to know the rules. We're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about, though, the most important thing. And oh, the other thing that Echo said was that it was kind of absorbing. So she
Yeah.
wasn't really thinking about anything else, which kind of calms you, that kind of like calms you down in a weird way. So I don't know if you guys remember Gina Chua. She left. She was your big
Yes, of
boss
course.
like a couple years ago. So
Yes, yes.
Gina was a huge proponent of this program. In fact, she and I are still in touch.
Nice.
She sends me drawings when she wants help, and she's a wonderful drawer, a really skilled drawer. Um, and I interviewed her for a class interview. And what she said, and I thought this is really true, one day I'll play it for you guys, is that drawing is, she said, I used to think that meditation was trying to clear your mind. So now she thinks meditation is doing something, one thing that's so absorbing, you can't think of anything else. And that to her is meditation, because you're kind of working hard enough that you have to, it's not easy, right? You have to focus to like get things correct. Hi, Doyen Sola, welcome. Uh, and we'll have you introduce yourself in just a second. And that's what she said about it. And I thought that was the smartest like way to describe it. We're essentially exercising our right brain. So when you know what something is, it's hard to draw. So one of the ways, hi, welcome. Turn off, yes, say hello. I'll have these other two introduce
Hello.
tell everybody who you are and where you are and what you do for Reuters.
Sure. So my name's Doyen Sola. I'm a company news reporter based out of New York. And yeah.
Have you ever drawn before?
I have not taken a drawing class in particular, but I did just draw casually as a child.
Awesome. I love how this question always makes people uncomfortable. It's interesting to me because even people who are pretty good at it are like, no, I can't do it. Or, you know what I mean? Like it's really hard. Like we have a lot of emotional baggage around learning to draw, which I will talk to you guys about because there's a very specific developmental step that is kind of not included in education. So this is why we feel this way. By the way, my name is Leah Kohlenberg. I'm the art teacher for Reuters. I've been doing this like 7 years now, believe it or not, teaching art classes for Reuters. And I'm happy to see you guys, all of you, because new faces are what we're trying to get in to the class. And I was a newspaper reporter, and I'm really old. So back in the 90s, I was a newspaper reporter and a magazine reporter. I ended up writing for Time magazine in Hong Kong over the handover to China. I spent a year teaching journalism in Mongolia. I've been a lot of places, and I came out of that experience at 31, knowing that I didn't want to be a journalist anymore. So, and I did not know that what I wanted was to be an artist. I mean, I kept doing journalism. That's what I did. I moved back to the US where I'm from. That was Seattle, Washington at the time. And I worked for a couple of news agencies, and I freelanced, and I bought a house and began fixing it up one by, like step by a sort of broken down house, and I fixed it up. And I began painting like every wall of every room in the house a different color. It was a 4-bedroom house. It was a lot of walls and a lot of color. And so I had all this like paint of different colors. And I began like, one day I was just like, I had a little time and I was just like dripping paint on like, I don't know, a piece of wood from a project, like trying to replace my kitchen floor. And I was mesmerized for hours. I just drizzled paint. And that was it. I decided I wanted to become an artist. And I've spent the last 25 years doing that. So one of the things that I found really interesting, I did not know how to draw. I was pretty good with the paintbrush. There were things I could naturally do with the paint. Everybody has a natural bent artistically, whether you're good with a pencil, whether you're good with a paintbrush, whether you like clay, or whether you play music, write, or perform, or you write like fiction and poetry. All those fine arts, we have something that we're good at. I couldn't draw. So at 32, I had to kind of go back to the beginning and be the worst student in the class. And I learned a lot from that because I learned how most artists who are teachers don't explain it very well. And I learned B, that there is a whole mental process that we do not develop as we are growing up that is the right brain. So I'm going to say during, so if you haven't done it yet, do review the first lesson. It's on video. Did you do it? Oh, you did it. Awesome. Good student. A+ students here. Echo's like in the car. Naja's and Angie is like, it's late at night. All right. So having said that, Angie, do you want to introduce yourself and Echo to Doyen Sola, and then we'll get started.
Hi, I'm actually kind of familiar with Doyen Sola because I've always seen her name as a byline. I think you
That's
wrote the US port strike story and recently Hilton's results. So I've always seen her name. I know her like from the articles she writes. Hi, I'm from the Bangalore Bureau. I work with the publishing team. So yeah, I'm joining late at night, as Leia said. I'm on night shift now, American hours. So I got nothing else to do. And I thought I'd reconnect with a hobby that I've kind of neglected.
Isn't that awesome?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Echo, go ahead.
We know each other pretty well because we work from the same office in New York, and we literally see each other every day. So good to see you here, and hopefully we get to compare notes in person.
Yes. Oh, this is amazing. So, yes. So one of the things let's get started on this. So one of the things that, and regardless of whether you have some experience drawing, a lot of experience, no experience, what I experienced as a 32-year-old trying to learn how to draw is that drawing required an entire different skill set with a different logic base. It's absolutely as right brain is absolutely visual spatial is absolutely as logical as verbal conceptual as our left brain, right? But it's a different logic set. It has less to do with applying a concept that's always the same, and more to do with rules about how you deal with subjects when they're closer to you and farther away. As a sort of quick example, I think I did this last week, right? We know that this is a hand, and if I put my hand here, you can see it's smaller, but if I push it up here, it gets bigger than my head, right? So the left brain, verbal conceptual side, knows that the hand is always smaller than the head. But the right brain, if you're trying to draw it, the hand is different sizes depending on where it is in relation to you. And you can see why your left brain concept gets in the way of you being able to draw, right? Because you have an idea in your head, which isn't wrong in concept, but it doesn't help you when you're trying to locate things in physical space. In reality, if my hand is here, it doesn't even matter what this is and what this is. Does not matter. It does not matter if they're attached. From your perspective as a drawer, it's less about what all these things are and more about where they are in relation to you. What is this shape doing in relation to this shape, that shape? You know what I'm saying? So like the exercise, if you get a chance to do the drawing the man upside down exercise, you're going to find that at times when you're that Picasso drawing that I gave you last week, you'll find that when if you can kind of fold it up into 4 squares and do 1 square at a time, and you do it upside down, you will find it's much easier to draw than if you're drawing it right side up. If you have an idea of what a thing is, it becomes harder to draw. And if you don't know what it is, it becomes easier to draw because what we're focusing on is shapes. So today we're going to focus on one of my favorite things. It's a little bit academic this morning. This afternoon, wherever you are, this evening. But we're going to learn how shading and light works, how light hits 4 different objects. And what I mean by that is when we're translating, right, a spherical object from 3 dimensions to 2, how do we portray light going across? And then we're going to apply this in the following week to our first, to another drawing. So, anybody have questions about that before we get started? Awesome. Okay. So we're going to start with the sphere. I just want you to draw a circle, right? And let me put this down a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Yeah. Is that better? Can you see that better? And then I want you to draw just this little straight line here, which of course indicates the wall and the table that the sphere is sitting on. And then the last thing you're going to do is draw the shape of the shadow that the sphere makes. We haven't done any shading yet. I absolutely love this. And I think you guys will get that. If you want any help with this, please send it across the thread. I think at this point, we're probably in pretty good shape. The challenge of it comes a little bit later. Just based on these, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, shapes, 4 lines and shapes. What direction is the light coming from? Can you tell? If this is the shadow, what direction is the light coming from? Anybody? Yeah.
From the right?
Left.
From the left. Because the shadow's going to the right, right? So the light is pushing it in this direction. So we're going to start with toning the wall. So I'm going to take my pencil and kind of, not super heavy dark, kind of a medium dark. I'm just going to do a little bit of shading around the outside edge of the sphere. Don't get too dark with this. I'm going to say get medium dark with this. And you don't have to make your pencil do what I'm doing. Everybody has kind of a way they like to shade. So you can experiment with your pencil and how this works. You don't have to, marks don't have to go exactly the way I do it. Do it the way you do it. But the important thing is to get this kind of value right. It's on the dark side. And then I want you to make the tabletop a little bit lighter. I want you to darken it, but not as dark. I'm going to work around the shadow for now. So see how this is kind of lighter dark. This is darker. This is kind of lighter. If I was to rank it, which we will talk about next week, I might as well talk about it this week. Let's say that there are 5 values, which is lightness or darkness of any color. 1 is white, white. 5 is super dark. And 2, 3, and 4 are kind of varying. Gets a little bit darker. You can see you're going to have to play around with this. I just use my finger. Some artists would tell you that's bad form, particularly if you're a pencil drawer, because you get your finger oils in here, but I like the look of it. It kind of looks smudgy. Can you see how this is lightest? This is kind of a little bit darker. This is darker still. Let's see if I can create something that's in between here and here. I might have to go over it a few times to get my variations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously, you don't have to do anything for 1 because it's just blank. It's light. So you can see that. Go ahead and give yourself those little ranks. I want to follow through on this by saying that I am not at heart a pencil drawer. I am a paintbrusher. I kind of like to think of 2D artists, meaning people who work on a flat surface, in 2 ways, right? You either kind of jibe towards the pencil, or you jibe, and some people just do incredible things with it, or you jibe towards the paintbrush. Pencil drawers tend to like really push towards the contour line, the really strong contour lines. As a paintbrusher, I'm less interested in contour lines. I'm more interested in kind of light and dark patches compelling together. Both of them totally valid, but it's good to kind of recognize what you are, because for a long time, I really struggled with drawing until I realized that I drew with the paintbrush. And then I could go backwards and apply that to using this tool. It's about tools and how we use them. And I just don't prefer this tool, although I've really, after 25 years, I've come to kind of we have a good relationship now. But like my natural relationship is not to do that. So that's why I'm not trying to say one is like better than the other. And that's also a way of saying the mark making that you do with the pencil will be very different depending on what your propensity is, where you go. So when you've got this, why don't you go ahead and send it across the thread so I can take a look at it. I absolutely love this exercise. I teach it to everybody. It came from a book on oil painting, of all things. And what you'll find ultimately, sort of strangely, is that oh my God, you're doing it, Echo? Car. Okay. All right. That looks fantastic. All right. Great. Good job. Love that. Let's see, Dorian Sola. So, I see why you said right. So is your image flipped, Dorian Sola? So does it look? Yeah, that's what happens. Okay, that's fine. Just do it yes, that's totally fine. So my image is going actually to the left, but you were absolutely right in your answer. It's because for some reason, the image on your screen is flipped. And what I don't understand is that happens for some people and not for others. I don't really get it. I don't really understand why that happens. Okay, so you're just going the opposite direction, but you'll do that's what it looks like to you. So we'll do that. All right, so when you send that through, that looks great. Angie, you got one too? Let's see.
Yeah, it's kind of incomplete. I think I used a bit more scratchier paper.
That's fine. You're learning I like those marks. I think they're quite beautiful. Okay. So let's talk about what happens when light hits an object. So we think of this sphere as one, like the whole thing is the front, but that's actually not true. If you look at a cube, it's a little bit easier to see this, right? A cube, I think all of you did you guys learn how to draw that when you were a kid? A cube? Yeah. Like you learned how to do this. Right. So it's easy to see where the cube changes sides, where it turns, right? Because this cube is flat. It's easy to see that, right? But the same thing happens with the sphere. It's just less easy to see because the sides aren't so good. So this is one side, this is one side, this is one side, and then there's three sides we can't see from this perspective, right? The bottom, this side, and the back. But every time there's a change in there's a change in light. So that is why shading is so important, because it means that you're moving to another side of an object. So for a sphere, this works like this. We're going to start with the cast shadow because I think that's the easiest. The darkest part. So if the light is coming from here, actually, I don't want to wreck if the light is coming from this direction, if it's Dorian Sola, it looks like it's coming from the right. For the rest of you, it looks like it's coming from the left, right? This is the light. The closest thing to that light source is going to be the lightest, right? Like that makes sense. And then as you turn away from the light, things get darker. So the darkest part of the entire structure is actually the little part of the shadow. Can you see this where the light just can't get to it because the object, this ball, is blocking all light. So that's very heavy and dark right around here. The darkest, it's a 5. And then this becomes like a 4. Oh my God, can you hear that? That's my cat crying. Come on up. Come on up. You want to say hi? Come out. Here we go. Here is one of my 3 very fat cats. Here, I'm going to pop him up so you can see him. They make a mini. We love animals. This is Bazoo.
Hello.
Didn't he make an
Bazoo?
appearance last class too? Like,
Another one did.
yes, the blackmailer.
I am absolutely the stereotype of the Kamala voter. I have like 3 cats and no children. And I am proud. So you can see that this gets a little bit darker, and then it's darker here, and then it gets slightly lighter, probably closer to this value, right? Because this is the cast shadow. So this is a 5 and a 4, right? A 5 and a 4. These are kind of the darkest, one of the darkest areas. And go ahead and send a picture across the thread when you think you've got that. And you can even, if you want to, draw a little arrow to here, calling this the cast shadow. Because that's what that is. It's the shadow that the object casts. This exercise also kind of gives us a little idea about how to make drawings feel 3-dimensional. And that is that we kind of push contrast differences. So notice that this back wall is, so part of the thing is this table is a little lighter than the wall because the light's coming down and hitting the table, right? As opposed to going against the wall. But it's also true that like because we have this light object here, at least on this side, it helps to have a kind of dark shape around it to showcase the light. So we're always kind of pushing contrast between objects to get them to come forward. We push it a little bit more than what's actually happening. So it's good to know what's happening so that you know and can do it. Let's see. Okay, good. Good. Echo looks great. And notice how already your piece has a little bit of, it feels a little bit like it's sitting in space because we've worked all the contrast. We haven't even done anything to the sphere yet. We're just working around the sphere to create a feeling of depth. You guys want a second to work on this? I have a tendency to go fast, so you can tell me to slow down. We have many shapes to get through. We'll see how many we do today. Go ahead and send it over if you think you've got it. I have you send things over the thread because it's hard to see them in person. When you hold them up to the Skype screen, that is the one, particularly when we get to painting in color, you'll see. Let's see. Oh yeah, I see. You've got pastel paper, Angie. That's right. That looks fine. Angie, I would push a little bit.
I think this is watercolor paper. Actually, I got the wrong
Okay.
pad, I think. Okay.
That's okay. Just so push a little bit harder in here so that there's a 5
Should
to
I
4.
switch? I have smoother paper.
Yeah, go get other paper if you want to, or play. Yeah, go get other paper. That's a good idea.
Yes, not.
Yeah, no
working out.
problem. No problem. If it's annoying you, yes.
It is annoying me, actually.
Why you do it. All right, so I'll let you catch up as we're kind of going on. Let me actually demo the next step for these guys, and then are you ready? Are you guys ready? Oh, Dorian Silla, you want to send it to me? Okay, yeah. So you get another piece of paper. You'll send yours over. And in the meantime, of course, you guys feel free to ask any questions. You can ask me about the program. You can ask me anything. You can ask me anything or about what we're doing.
I've sent mine over. Did you see it?
Let me look. It might have come over at the same time as Angie's. Oh yeah. No. I saw yours in the, oh yeah, no, I see it. Oh, duh. Yeah, absolutely. We got it. Okay. Yes, it looks fine. And nice gradations here between this. This is good. All right. So let's talk about what happens. So light hits here. And we have an area that's kind of, and actually there'll be a little tiny spot. You ever seen that kind of little flash of like almost blinding white, right? That's here. That's what we call a highlight. And that's usually about here. It's exactly where the light hits. This is a highlight. We may or may not push to convey that, but you can give yourself a little circle here just to show it. And then, right, let's start like this. The next thing I'm going to have you do is I want it to be like a 2 in value. Along the edge that's facing away from the light, I want you to add a tiny little, it's almost like a little crescent moon, but can you see how the light's sort of soft? How the marks are soft? It's not like this. I don't want you to do that. I want you to do a kind of furred edge, which is a soft edge here, and I want the value to be about a 2. Okay. And this, I'm going to erase this a little bit because I went a little heavy. Here's where we start to do a lot of erasing. And this is what we call reflected light. So even though there's a main light source coming from here, and this is farthest away, right, on the sphere, often there's more than one light source. And so in the darkest edge of the sphere, there's always the little edge the edge of the dark edge has a slight lighter component. It's not white, but it's like no darker than this. We call that reflected light. It's kind of a little reflected edge. I really love this because I never knew this was there. So the shadow is contained. I'm gonna draw it with, I don't want you to draw this. I'm gonna draw it with, the shadow is kind of contained in this section of the sphere between here, actually even a little bit. So there's this little light reflected edge, it's like a 2, right? And then the shadow is contained in these shapes. If you want to, you can put these in, but you're going to want to take out the lines later. And what happens is, I'm just trying to think of how to say this. So this is the halftone. From here to here, it's like a 3. It's darker than this, lighter than this. Right? And that's when the sphere starts turning. So here is the side where the sphere starts turning away from the light. And then it gets darker. Here. This is more like a 4. Now you can see I need to make this a little lighter. And I want my transition from the halftone or the medium, right? So you can think of this as light. This is called a halftone. It means it's half light, half dark. And that is important for there to be contrast. between this light, this kind of halftone, and what we would call the core shadow, which is dark. So you want there to be a very nice, this is the tricky part, right? A very nice and kind of soft transition from light to medium to dark, and then back to this little reflected edge here. That means you may need to work a little bit of the wall behind you. Can you see that? And let me clarify what I mean by light, soft edge. This is a hard edge. That's a hard edge. And that is not helpful when you're drawing something like this. The transitions in a sphere are softer, right? So if I want to do, right, so this, if I was doing a hard edge, it would look like this. And then it would look like this. Right? But this is not what's happening here. It's a softer transition, right? It's softer. So that means my edge is a little bit, there's a shift definitely from light to medium to dark, but I can't see any solid lines. It's kind of a softer edge. So that looks more like this. I'm not even going to add lines in there. I'm just going to kind of lightly kind of sketch that in. And then notice I'm doing a lot of horizontal mark making. But notice the difference in transition. This doesn't have a strong line. It's kind of more furred. The only strong lines we have are here, which show the outer bounds of the object. The only contour, strong, hard lines is this one, which we need, right? Because it's very separate from these other things. And this line that defines the, well, actually, the sphere itself, the line that defines the wall versus the table, and then this outer cast shadow line, which is also pretty hard. Although you could soften it a little bit if you wanted to, wouldn't hurt it.
Leia, I'm sorry to ask, what grade pencil are you using? Looks
I'm
like
just
a
using an HB. I'm just using an HB,
Yeah,
a standard
so
kid's
it's-
pencil.
All
Yeah.
right, all right.
I would stick with that right now because this is just simple. If you go heavier, you're gonna have a struggle going lighter. And I know some people like a heavier pencil. The Bs go, at the higher they go, the more lead is in them, the stronger the, oh, we lost Echo. Maybe she'll come back, right? No, that's a great question to ask. Fantastic question.
I
So
kind
now
of
you're
realized
down.
I picked up an 8B instead of a 4B.
No, you do not want an 8. Well, it probably helped with your watercolor paper, but yes.
Yeah, that's why I picked it up. I'll just search for an HB. I have one somewhere.
Well, or
HB.
maybe
Got it.
like
Got it.
got
I've
it.
got one.
Yes. For those of you who don't know, I like to always start these lessons with just your standard. In the US, this is a standard pencil that you would use for everything. It's kids' pencil. It's called HB, which means it's kind of balanced between H, which means hard or fine, and stop, and B, which means, you know, bold. So the Bs, as they 2B, 4B, 6B, get kind of heavier and darker. And the H's, 2H, 4H, 6H, they get really fine. You get these really, it gets harder to shade. So I find an HB kind of like is a nice balance just for this exercise. And once again, I want to preface this by saying I come to this with the bias of being a painter. not a pencil drawer. So everything I tell you is based on how I approach drawing, right? Which is more these soft shapes with these soft transitions than it is these hard lines. So so I'm like, HB pencil is good for everything. Let's not bother with anything else. But there are, of course, teachers who can teach you a lot about how to do all these different things. That's not going to be me. However, I am hiring a new drawing teacher who can do anything, a drawing and painting teacher next year, who's a friend of mine, and she's going to be handling all the beginning drawing classes. And she's baller. She is an amazing, she is, first of all, one of the most inventive artists I've ever met. Her arts, let's just say that in her last art exhibit, she had paintings, drawings on the floor, on the ceiling, on the walls, and she had a trampoline. So, and she had, well, anyway, she's a crazy good artist, not at all defined by medium, but she makes her living teaching drawing and painting. So she's an amazing teacher. She may offer more instruction on pencils. This is pretty much what you're going to get from me.
Actually, Leo, when you actually said that, you know, you discovered that you were naturally a painter. Like, the first time, like when I started drawing as a kid, my mom also draws. It's kind of runs in the family. So I'm not saying we're like Michelangelo or something, but it does run in the family.
Yeah.
So my mom used to paint and sketch, which she stopped after marriage because, well, it happens to a lot of women. It happens to a lot of women. And when I picked up a pencil and I started shading for the first time, I was using lines to shade. I didn't know what that was. It just felt right. And it wasn't until I got to art class in school, my art teacher said, "That's hatching." I was like, "Oh,
that's hatching." Exactly.
So that's how I found out I'm actually a pen person.
You're a pencil drawer by nature, which is great. So use hatching if you'd like. That is not something hatching.
No, I think I'll follow you. It's all right. I mean, I'm here to learn.
Yeah, it's true. Hatching is a very pencil drawing like kind of move. And for those of you who don't know, hatching is this. It's like, right? You just keep going through and adding lines, crossing, right? It's a very neat, and if you want to make
old self-portrait, if you want to see.
Yeah, send it across. Send it across the thread. It's great.
No, I'll show it here. I'm too embarrassed to send it. So
no, send it across. Nope, send it across. You've got to send it across. It's good.
It's very old.
The thread is important because it allows you guys to share what you're doing and to feel more like you're in a class. And part of the learning process is seeing what other people do. Please share it across. My class threads are very active. There are some class threads that are 5 years old. So people know each other quite well, and they're sending stuff to each other all the time. It doesn't even matter. Oh yeah, look at that. Pencil drawer. That's beautiful. I love it. Yes. So this is kind of the different, and so in some cases, you'll be like, what? That's not how I would do it. You know, me, when I demonstrate something for you, which is these kind of soft edges, I'm doing it from a painting perspective, but that is beautiful and really valid. So I always try to, you know, put this way, because I don't want you to end up drawing and painting like me. I want you to draw and paint like you. And to do that, it's technique that's important. That's what I found as I began to learn to draw. My painting just exploded. Like when I realized that what I was doing with the paintbrush was drawing, and when I began to understand concepts of drawing, it absolutely blew, it dynamited forward my painting. So I can see the necessity of both, right? They go, and I think for pencil drawers, learning kind of the painting way of doing a drawing with a pencil also explodes your way forward. It just gives you different ways to do things. But really the most important thing here is soft edges and good contrast between your different items. And if you find yourself going back and forth, that is absolutely part of this exercise. This exercise should be slightly frustrating because it's hard to kind of keep all the parts in balance, right? Because you're not just thinking about, for example, this edge, right? You're not just thinking about the sphere, you're thinking about how the sphere balances in all of the things around it. One of the things about visual spatial thinking, about right brain thinking, is that we are thinking both about what is around the subject and the subject itself all the time. We use what's around the subject to help us define the subject. We use what's in the subject to help define the background. So that is not a verbal conceptual, a left brain way of thinking. Left brain likes to say sphere, wall, table, and not just that. Sphere is important, these things are not, right? Because the sphere is my subject. That is a very left brain way of thinking, and it's not useful to you here. So we're thinking more like a puzzle. How do these pieces fit together? All of them. And that is, interestingly enough, what I found when that really clicked for me is that my writing got so much better. There was about 8 years when I first started drawing. So I started at 32, and I spent so part of that, what that meant for me was I spent at least 20 hours a week painting and drawing on projects that I just find, and then another 5 hours a week taking classes. And then I was also still doing journalism because I had to make a living. I wasn't good enough as an artist to make a living that way. Even when you're a really good artist, it's hard to make a living. And I wasn't, for the first 5 years, I didn't feel confident in my abilities to be able to teach. So I was going back and forth between editing and writing. I was teaching journalism at an elementary school. That's a whole other story. I mean, I was doing things with my writing to support myself while I was learning the rudimentaries of painting. What I found was that as I got better as a drawer and as I understood this concept of visual spatial thinking, all of a sudden I realized there was a visual spatial element to writing. The lead kind of takes this much space. The nut, right? Your nut graph like takes this much as you're kind of redefining where you're going to go. And then it's like beads in a necklace, like pieces that you're stringing together. There's a visual element to that. And I'm going to be dead honest with you. I never struggled with writing a lead again, ever. Because for some reason, this thinking kind of clicked for me as the second part of the process. That doesn't happen for everyone, but it did happen for me. And it has happened for many of the Reuters journalists who they have noted it. It's funny, I went through a phase where I wanted to prove it. Like I wanted to say, hey, your writing will get better and you'll win more awards and blah, blah, blah. If you get to be, if you do this. And I realized, and I designed questionnaires and I tried to get people to take them. I realized very quickly, nobody cared. You guys are like, I'm already a pretty good fucking writer. I'm like working for Reuters, like, right? Like I don't, that like, not that I'm not looking to improve my writing, but you already know you're a good writer. And even if it does improve your writing, that's kind of a side effect. It's not as important as the actual aspect of learning to do something new and spending some time in this kind of quasi-meditative state where you're focusing on one thing and kind of getting rid of everything else. How is this going, by the way? How's this exercise going? Tricky? It's okay, you can go back and forth. If you think you're done, we'll move to a cube. But I don't want to do that. I want you to
have a question.
Yeah.
Oh, so you said that the one of the important things is to make the edges very soft.
Yes.
How do you do that? Do you smear with your fingers, or how do you, because I'm trying to kind of.
That's a great question. Let me demonstrate it and I'll talk you through it as we do it. Can you see my hand well enough? Okay. I'm going to erase this. So you can see that I drew outlines here and I kept my coloring in the lines, as we say. right? So if I want to not do that, I'm starting with a series. For me, I start with a series of very light kind of scribbles. Do you see how that's different than this? I'm going horizontally. Oh, also, I don't know if you can see this. I'm kind of here. Let me move my hand a little bit more. So I'm kind of like holding the pencil closer to the end and I'm resting my hand. So you may not be able to do this as easily in the car, but I'm resting on the hard surface. I'm resting my hand kind of here and I'm going soft. And then I'm getting a little bit darker. I'm pushing a little bit harder here. And now I can see I need to pull this back. So I might run my eraser over it. Yeah, you can use your pencil if you want to. See, then I lose a little bit. So there's a lot of like, if you're not getting it right away, don't worry. There's a lot of back and forth that happens here. I feel like when I used my, well, there you go. When I used my finger, I felt like it got a little bit darker. So I'm more likely to kind of use my eraser and then try to lay that in. Lighter. It's not as easy as it looks, is the sort of standard answer to that question. So I'm just kind of not trying to be so rigid with my lines. Erase it. See, I'm erasing it again because I'm like, that all went too dark. And now I'm going to try, I'm kind of putting my lines a little farther apart. And I'm using less pressure. That's a little better. Still, it's kind of hard though. So I come back in here and I push up on some of those lines. Yeah, it's a whole, if we spend all of our time just on this, that is valid. It's a push and a pull.
And also that's helpful. And also, does that so sometimes I see that you draw your lines horizontally and sometimes with a diagonal. Does that, do you kind of trying to use a different, for example, when you draw the,
I know what you're asking.
yes,
I know what you're
like,
asking.
yes.
Am I trying to use my lines to show direction? Yes.
Yes,
Yes, I am.
okay.
So here, I'm kind of suggesting the table going horizontal. And here, I'm suggesting, these marks suggest this going up, right? These are more vertical. But I also go horizontal on these because I wanted a little bit more depth. And also because I'm going to be dead honest with you, I get impatient with the pencil and I wanted to do more and I just get bored. So I'm like, ugh. That's like my crazy ass brain, like going, I'm bored. Oh my God, I can't stand this. I wish I had a paintbrush right now. So that's part of it. And I've even noticed as I've done this, I'm like, oh, I'm doing it again. Aha, that's a little better. And the key here, and this is what I really love about this exercise, which by the way, you guys, is one of the things I picked up and picked up quite early in my career. I picked up this book. I've been working with it for like 20 years or so. Maybe even more, 22, 23. This little reflected edge, I never knew it was there, but once you know it's there, you see it everywhere. You can see it on the edges of faces. You can see it on the edge of a cup. You can see it on the ball when you're like, you can see it. You'll start to see it, a little kind of slightly lighter edge on the dark side of anything. And the other thing I want to tell you guys is that I try really hard when I give lessons not to practice. I don't practice at all because I want you to see and to ask questions like these questions, that you'll notice I did better on this one than I did on this one, right? I'm struggling a little bit to get the level of dark that I need to get the soft edges. I think part of my problem is I don't have this kind of balancing me out. So I might add this back in. That's starting to get better. So I might add this in. And this adds some other points that I think are really, really interesting. So one of them is this reflected edge, right? That it's there. So I want to make sure I convey that. Part of my making sure I see the reflected edge is I push the contour where it's lighter, and I get very heavy and dark to the right or to the left of the contour, you know, to the wall. And I'm like lighter in the sphere here in that reflected edge. Those things help me convey it. Up here, this is a concept we're going to talk about quite a lot. This area is called a lost edge. Has anyone ever heard that term before? That means that the shadow kind of cuts across the shadow is heavy enough that it cuts across the edge of the ball and the background. So there's less of a pronounced contour edge for the ball here. So down here where it's lighter, where this reflected edge is, that contour is stronger. But up here, where the shadow of the wall and the core shadow of the sphere kind of match, we don't really see the contour edges strongly. We can see it quite strongly here, just simply because this is dark and this is light, right? And you can see this line. But up here, we kind of lose it a little bit. So reflected edges are huge in showing. So there's always at some point in your shape where we kind of lose the edge of the shape to the shadow. So identifying those things is very important, particularly on a rounded object like this, where it's not, even though these are three different sides, this is one side, this is one side, and this is one side. Technically, this is the edge of the fourth side, right? We don't think of a rounded object with sides like that. That's what's happening. Coarse shadows become very important in kind of on flat surfaces to create 3D. Intellectually, there's a lot of technique to grab onto here, which is amazing. And even though we have, and the reason, and Dorian Sola, we were talking about this at the beginning of class, the reason you don't know it is no one taught you, right? No one taught any of us this. So at about the age of 8, when we're ready to start learning it fully, no one's there to talk to us about it. So, because nobody knows it, right? I mean, people know it, but it's relegated to an art class. It's not something that should be a fundamental analytical skill. Honestly, this is the skill that, like, visual spatial is the skill that, like, somebody who's quilting uses. It is the skill that someone who fixes a car engine uses, or fixes any mechanical thing uses. This is a really crucial analytical ability that most of us are walking around without using. Or we're kind of partially using it, but we don't understand how it works, so we're not fully using it and fully harnessing it. So my job is to tell you how those theories work. That's like why I said some of you are going to get, like all of you get where the light's coming from, right? You can say that, but you can't, it's harder to explain why. It's a little bit like grammar. Why is the sentence structured like this? We know it needs to be structured like this, but we don't understand what the pieces are and how you pull them. This is like the grammar of drawing. When I first started teaching, I was not that good a drawer. I was okay. I used to feel of myself about one step ahead of my students. And and I had students that were better drawers than me. But what I realized really quickly is that they had no understanding of what they were doing. So conceptually, they were right back there at the beginning with everyone else because they didn't understand what they were doing. And actually, when you teach yourself to draw, you kind of do it in a flawed way. So you can teach yourself to draw kind of better than most people, but there's a point where everything that you've taught yourself kind of works against you. You're going to learn this later as we go through. You'll learn this in next week's lesson because we're going to talk about when you do what, and your instincts as a self-taught drawer are completely different than learning the structure and the logistics. So once I learned that, I was like, okay, well, I have something to teach, even though you're a better drawer. You are just as stuck here when it comes to perspective as anybody else would be, right? Understanding those things. So it's really a fascinating, really, it's just a logical tool set that we mostly don't use. And if we did, and the thing that probably, let's see.
I think you are on mute. Yeah.
So I was just speaking very elegantly. We missed all of that. You're going to have to take my word for it. Okay, Anjana, I love everything about that drawing. I'm going to say the only thing you need to do is darken to a 5 under here, right? This is a 5, that's a 4. So because that's the cast shadow and it's the area that no light gets into. Nice soft edges. All right, let's see here. Doyen Sola, not bad. I would say, I want you, Doyen Sola, I love this. I want you to lighten this one. I know, and I want you to fur the edges on this side. Here, I'll do it too. I want this side from here to the reflected edge to be softer, which means a little bit more. And then I want you to lighten this. So I know it's definitely lighter than what's happening here, but I'd like you to lighten it even more. I want this to be lighter than this. Otherwise, I like it. Good job. Notice how everybody's looks different. It's fascinating, isn't it? Everyone's looks different because that's you interacting with the tool, which is the pencil. Everybody has a way. Everybody has I like to think of that as voice and expression. And when you guys are ready, we'll move on to the cube. What time is it? Oh yeah, we got plenty of time. We'll move on to the cube. You'll be like, thank God we're moving on to the cube. Like, it is
Leah, I also
easy.
sent mine over just
Let's
in case
see.
you didn't say it.
I did not. Let me grab it. Hold on. I'm looking at WhatsApp on my computer screen, and sometimes I miss it if they all come over at the same time. Let's see. Oh, wait. Oh, nice. Really nice. That's beautiful, Echo. I love it. You could maybe, I might work, if you want to work on something, work on this edge, fur this edge a little bit, and maybe slightly darken here. So there's a really dramatic, so there's a more dramatic shift. But in general, really nice. You guys are doing great. This is awesome. So let's spend 2 more minutes working on this. And then, oh. That's great. Nice work. Next week, we're going to draw a flower. So all of this practice is going to be towards, I swear to God, like a little bit more satisfying. I have students, normally Anik, who has been with me for 5 years at Reuters in the Gdansk Bureau, she's retaking this class and she's done this exercise several times and she hates it every time. It's like she keeps doing it because even though it's kind of frustrating, you learn a little bit more as you're doing it. Oh, hi, Agatha. So Agatha, did you get my note about art class starting an hour earlier because you guys went through the time change and we have not yet?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I thought
Oh, right,
I
because you
joined.
were not on the thread. And so I'm sorry, that's totally my fault. We
Yeah,
started
no.
an hour earlier. Why don't you pop on
Okay.
and introduce yourself? I'm actually going to remove the spotlight for a second so we can see you. Agatha, join in, talk to us, tell us who you
Hi.
are, show us yourself.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
Agatha. Nice to meet you. Sorry for joining so late. I didn't know it started. It started earlier. So,
No, yeah.
and I missed last week's class because I was my friend was visiting, so I was thinking like I would watch the recording and join today.
Tell us
I-
where you work and what you do for Reuters.
I actually work at the same office as Annik does. So I work in
Excellent.
Gdańsk. Yes, she's been. We've been working together. She's been teaching me when I joined. So I've been at Reuters with Reuters for 3 years now, and I work with the Nordic team and here in Gdańsk. So I do Nordic news.
Is that your native language?
It's not my native language. I'm Polish.
You're
but
Polish,
I learned,
okay.
Yes, yeah. But so I'm from here, but I learned Swedish at university.
Good for you. That's amazing. Diana Lungeas, who is the president of the LA Press Club and one of the people who joins this class, is Swedish also. She lives in
Oh.
LA now.
Cool.
But one day you'll meet her. She might even pop on to class a little bit earlier. They start a class. She starts a class with another teacher in an hour. So Agatha, I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves, but my name's Leah. I'm the teacher here. I'm in Portland, Oregon, so pretty far from you. And it is absolutely not your fault, but because you weren't on the thread, but I realized about an hour ago that you guys did the time change this weekend and you weren't doing it next weekend with us.
Yeah.
So so this has been recorded. You should pop in, do the next part of the lesson with us, and then you can just catch up on everything. But in the meantime, I know you guys have done this already. Can you introduce yourself to Agatha as well? Let's start with Dorian Sola. Tell her who you are and where you are and what you do.
Sure. Yeah. Hi, Agatha. I am based out of the New York Bureau. I cover company news, particularly like travel companies, Airbnb, Hilton, etc. And it's nice to meet you.
Yeah. I love this class for this reason. It's really great. Echo, how about you?
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Echo Wen. I'm like Dorian. I'm based in New York. I cover finance. More specifically, I write about companies going public, IPOs, and I cover private equity companies. Very nice to meet you. I'm in a car because I have some little weekend trip. So.
She's been in the Berkshires. You go ahead, say it. You don't have to like.
Yes. So just because
it's
this time of the year, the leaves started to change, and actually, I'm on my way to Mass MoCA, which is a very nice museum. So after this art class, I'm gonna go to admire some art.
Perfect. So she's doing it in the car. This is the great value of art lessons for online for sure. And Anjana, Angie, do you want to introduce yourself as well? I know I've had this happen before, but this is all my fault. I didn't tell you guys. I wasn't paying attention to the time change. Go ahead.
Hi, Agatha. I'm from the Bangalore Bureau. I work in the publishing department.
Okay, fabulous. So I love these classes because they bring you together. And as you said, you guys begin to have a nice kind of, you get to know names to faces. Some of you do know each other already, but I think this is really great. I'm going to have a stop here on this lesson, and we're going to go to the next exercise. So Agatha, all you need is a piece of paper and a pencil. We're going to pop back up here. We're gonna look at how light hits a cube. So there's many ways to draw a cube. And we've noticed, by the way, that for some people, the screen flips. So if I'm drawing from the left, it might look like the right to you. Just go the direction that you see it, and then we'll figure it out as we start to compare. So there's many ways to draw a cube. We can try it this way. Kind of a straight line down here. Two straight lines here. And then a slightly more angled line here. So these are more angled than these lines. These lines are flatter, and these kind of go up more. And then we can do two straight lines. And then kind of these just cross, kind of an awkward cube. You can also draw your cube. Well, yeah, if we want to get all these sides, which we do, this is how you need to draw the cube. The sort of classic way of drawing the cube is this, right? But we can only see three sides. Well, actually, we can still only see three sides, but these are different sides instead of one. So if you want to draw it with one like this, you can, of course, draw it like that. Sorry, here, like this. So I'll draw that again. Straight line down. Slightly angled lines in either direction. More steeply angled lines up. And then more straight lines down. Then we'll just do straight lines across. And you can adjust these a little bit. Right. This little drawing, it represents, and don't worry, if your cube looks a little wonky, that's okay. You can adjust it down, like here, I'm adjusting mine down a little bit, right? That looks a little bit better as you go. Do not be afraid to use your eraser. Go ahead and draw a cube. This represents perspective, which we are not going to talk about today, because that will blow your head up. Absolutely will blow the head up. But what that means in a kind of, well, I'm not even going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about it on a different day, probably our last lesson of the year. But that's why this is such a wonky thing to draw, because literally these are the same shape and size. But when you draw them on a flat surface, they don't look that way. In the same way that when we draw a road going away from us, right? We have to draw it getting narrower and also rising up. We know that actually this part of the road and this part of the road are the same size, but they don't look like it to us. And when we're trying to convey that on a flat surface, we have to dramatize. We also know this road isn't actually literally rising up on the air, it's flat on the ground. But that's what it looks like to us as it goes away from us, particularly on a flat surface. That's all I'm going to say. Go ahead and get yourself a cube, and then we'll talk about how light hits the object if you're going from this direction. So actually, go ahead and get your cube in, and then we'll put the background in. We'll put the wall and the floor. And we're working on this guy right now, which you also have in the WhatsApp thread, although you don't have it, Agatha, because you just joined. So I'm going to forward it so that you have it. All of you. Wait a minute. Did I not? Where are you? I'm looking to see where this. Thought I had sent this picture big, but maybe I didn't. Yes, it's here. It's way up here before my shock at remembering. Let's see. I'm going to forward it down. So this little drawing that you're looking at small here, I'm about to send you big down here so you can look at it on the thread and look at the pictures. So you can see them better. When you think you've got your cube, you can go ahead and hold it up. I'll take a look at it. I'm going to remove the spotlight. Let's see. Yeah, looks good, Echo. Okay, so Dorian Sola, I'm going to have you've got this going. Wait, I'm going to pop this down just a little bit. So I'm going to pop this up so you can see it. I'm going to have so you have this going, right? So make this line more angled up and a little bit here. Anybody else? Let me see. Angie or Agatha, you guys want to show me yours? Hold them up. It's harder than it looks, right? Oh, I can't, you've got the blur on, so I can't see it. If you want to, Agatha, you can just take a picture and send it across the thread, the WhatsApp thread. Oh, there we are. Yeah, looks pretty good. Good enough. Like it. Angie, you got it? You want to hold it to me? You want to hold it up so I can see it? You don't have to send it across. I'll just take a look at this one. She's already gone ahead. Okay, great. So Angie's going ahead with what you're going to be doing next. I'll start this here. Right. So the next thing we're doing is we're going to place this in space. So that is drawing a straight line kind of towards the bottom of these verticals here. Right. This is the wall. This is the table or the ground. And then your shadow looks like this. Your cast shadow looks like this, if that's the shape. And then we'll start, of course, the same way we did before, doing a kind of 4-level darkness. See, if you look Echo right now, I immediately got bored. I was going across, then I kind of went down. That is my, I wouldn't call that like super professional. I would just say that's where I'm at in my shading. So we're going to go kind of 4-level value, lightness or darkness. And just for Agatha, since she just got here, I'm going to review for you, Agatha, what we talked about. Value in drawing is the lightness or darkness of any color. So we're working with pencil, so we only have one color. So it's all about lightness or darkness. So if you think of a 1 as just no color, right? White, that's 1. And you think of 5 as very dark and heavy like that. 2, 3, and 4 are what we call halftones. And so this is dark, this is light, these are halftones, and they get gradually darker. So there should be kind of a variation up. There's not much of one between here and here. So I'm going to make this a little darker and this a little lighter. I notice I'm using my finger for that. That's okay. So you have pretty distinct differences between each of these two. They get gradually lighter or darker. This is kind of a 4, maybe a 4.5. Like the sphere, and I guess let's see, the shadow is a little bit kind of similar. Well, let's do the table first. The table's like a 3. Once again, we're going to kind of work around the actual subject to define our values. Light is coming from this direction. The light is coming from this direction, which means it's hitting the top first and then coming down. So the shadow is going this way. This is like a 3. This is like a 4. And this also is like a 4, the cast shadow. If you want, you can make this in the drawing. This is a little bit darker. It's actually like a 5, the wall. So you can do that. But definitely this shadow is lighter, is darker than this tabletop. So when you do the tabletop, you want the cast shadow at about a 4. And let's call the wall shadow, the wall, a 5. Light is 1. Notice that unlike the sphere, there isn't this like little dark edge, because the sphere kind of rolls up off the table so we can see a tiny bit of underneath, but the block sits very firmly on the table, so we can't see anything. There is no like hidden part of the tabletop that we can't see. It's all kind of here. So if the light is coming from here and hitting this side first, this is what we would call, this side is what we would call the halftone. So once again, it's probably like a 3, right? Because this side has turned directions from here. Halftone, it's a 3. And then the only thing, so this side is interesting. It's still light, but there is a tiny, tiny shadow difference between here and here. So that is delineated on the light side by like a 2, a little bit like a reflected edge in the sphere. It's a little bit shadowy, like a 2 right there. It's so interesting, isn't it? It's all, what you learn in drawing is that it's all about edges. And Dorian, so did I hear Echo call you Doyen? Is that how you prefer to be called? Or
Either works. Doyen's like a nickname.
oh, that's cool. It's a lovely name.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Angie is also Anjana, but you can call her Angie or Anjana. She says either one is fine. Once again, the key differences being that we partly define our subject by the contrast, the differing contrast areas. And because contrast, right, a shift in the light conveys a shift in direction, shading is crucial to creating 3 dimensions and making your shading distinct, right, between the values, making the values distinct. So this should be darker than what's happening here, because here the floor is sitting and the light is, sorry, the wall is sitting and the light's coming down on it. Sorry, not the wall, the table. The table is sitting and the light is coming down on it and it's picking up the light more directly. However, it's not as light as what's happening up here because this place is closer to the light. It's hitting the light first. The wall is moving away from the light, so it's darker. And it also conveys, right? So this conveys that this is wall, dark and lighter conveys that this is wall and this is floor. A little bit easier, right, guys, than the sphere, because the sides are more distinct. We're going to do a second one once you finish that. So just send it across the thread when you've got it. And Agatha, what will happen is next week you'll go back to the regular time. I will send a note out to everybody now on the thread and an email, because now the US switches back. Goes forward as well. And India and China will start later. Good job. I like it, Echo. Let's start on the next one. You want to draw another cube and start on this guy. So this is with the light coming from this direction. So if I do this again, hold on. So whoever's done with this can move to the next one. Hold on, let me look. Agatha, do you send? Yes, there it is. Okay. Yes, so does this look like, when I point this direction, does this look like it's going to the right, Agatha? Does it? When I point
It's,
this?
I mean, that's the right side of the picture pointing
All
to the
right,
left.
so I am in fact drawing it on the left side of the picture. I just need to know that,
Okay.
so I know what direct, anyway, it doesn't matter, right?
Okay.
As long as we know. Looks great. Looks really good. I want to ask what type of pencil you're using.
It's quite soft. It's 8B.
Yeah, don't use an 8B. Shift
Okay.
over to something, if you have it. If you have
I
something,
have
shift
this should be like HB. It doesn't
use
say,
an
but
HB. Try this
okay.
exercise with an HB. You're going to see
Okay.
it's going to be easier to get light, but I like how you conveyed your lights and darks with that 8B. You guys will notice that with what Agatha sent through, and actually Angie's beginning stuff as well, that 8B is very soft. So it's kind of easier to get like soft edges in a way. It's also heavy and dark, so it's harder to get light, but you did good with it. All right, so we're gonna switch over here. We're gonna do this again. So once again, we're gonna do another cube, same way. This is up, rises up slightly. This rises up more extremely. That will be another lesson, and these are straight up and down. And then these go across. I'm finding I'm always making this a little too. There we are. Right, so if the light's coming from this direction, for some of you, it will look like the right, others of you, it'll look like the left. You'll see there's an entirely different, there's a reflected edge in this one, which there wasn't in the other. So we'll start by, once again, going heavy, adding in our table. Getting really heavy dark here. I guess let's just say these are 5s. We're going to get to I think we'll have time. Yeah, we'll totally have time. We're going to totally have time to get to the cylinder as well. And then you're going to see this other totally magic trick happen, which is awesome, not expected, and good to know about. All right, and then here, the shadow comes this way. So this is kind of a 3. And this actually, quick note, this side of the shadow comes up a little bit on this vertical line. It doesn't come here at the edge. It comes up a little bit. So you've got this heavy dark. So this is really good practice in getting your pencil to make those different. See, Echo, now I'm just like, I don't have time. I'm all over the place. Right? So this comes here, this comes up here, and then there is a little reflected light edge down here. So you can start kind of light and then get heavier and darker. This is the core shadow, so it's darkest. But you want a slight light. This is kind of a, so this, let's say this is a 5. This is like a 4.5. Down here is a 2. Here is a 5. You see how I'm starting to adjust this? And then this is like 4. It's not as dark as this, but it's dark. So you have to pay attention to a lot of edges. Edges are everything here, right? Because you've got this edge. So these two edges have to appear darker than this one, but this is lighter than this one. This one has to appear kind of darker on top and then lighter on the bottom. And one of the ways you convey this is lighter on the bottom is this is super dark too. This is like a 5. So that's a 2, this is a 5. So you see how I'm kind of constantly moving around to adjust things? So much of this, as you can see, as I'm kind of moving along, I'm getting a little bit more impatient with my pencil, so I'm getting a little sloppier. But what I'm really pushing is where one edge meets another, where a lighter edge meets a darker edge. And here is your lost edge. Also very important. Later on, we'll see that. Next week, we're going to work with a 2-dimensional, we're going to work from a, we're going to copy a drawing from one flat surface to another. And then after that, the last class, I'm going to have you draw a coffee cup. So we're going to talk a little bit about perspective. You're going to work, I mean, technically it's still flat because you're looking at it through a Zoom screen. You're not looking at it, you know, you're not looking at it in person, but, and that changes things a little bit, but you'll still be, you won't have a flat reference. You're going to be drawing from life. And then we have the wonderful decision of whether you want to have 1 or 2 more classes. I kind of ended this class after 4 weeks because I thought we're going to be getting into holiday season, but it's up to you guys. So think about that as we go forward. I am here. It'd be easy for me to take you in on 1 or 2 more lessons. And then you can jump into the painting class, any of the painting classes that are happening next year, any of the beginning drawing classes that are happening with the new teacher. I would like to encourage you to keep going. So. If you want to. When you got that, go ahead and send it across the thread. Okay, so Doyen, I'm going to have you on this cube darken this shadow a little bit. Sorry, on this cube, I'm going to have you darken this shadow a little bit. And also, do you notice that when you put your line for the wall, you put it here, right? And not here? Which changes the shape of your shadow. So if you want to kind of copy this drawing directly and show that the cube is not exactly flat, and in fact, that the cube is not exactly flat against the wall, right? It's a little bit forward. You would bring this line up so that it comes not here to the edge, but up here a little bit further. And then that will help you adjust this shape. And then I want you to get darker with this shape.
Got it.
Yeah. It's funny how and notice you kind of did it on the one side, but not on the other side. It's funny how we do that, isn't it? It's funny how we just go to, this is, we kind of create patterns in our brain. Hold on, let me take a look. Why am I not seeing? Oh, here we are. Okay. I do like what you're doing with that 8B, Agatha. I won't lie. I do like it. So you can keep it if you want to.
I switched actually, and it was much easier. So the
Was
other
it
one,
okay? Great.
yeah.
And Echo, this looks great. This looks great. The hardest is that looks great. Great job. The hardest assignment is Agatha, what you missed is the sphere. This just takes forever. So if do you guys want me to start with the I'm going to start with the cylinder. Can I demonstrate that for just a minute? And then I might have Agatha go back to the sphere. Anyway, we'll decide what you want to do. You can keep working, but I'm going to show you how to do the sphere. Okay. So to draw, this is a cylinder with a, sorry. This is the cylinder with a closed mouth. So we start like this with two straight lines, exactly straight lines, straight up and down. And then we draw a kind of curved lines up and down here, and then just one curved line here. So one curved line here on the bottom, one on the top, and then on the bottom, just one curved line. If we could see the middle of this sphere, if we could see inside this cylinder, we would see that this is happening. Right? That's the actual shape, but we can't see that, right? It's a solid cylinder, like a cup or something. So we're just imagining it. And then once again, do your straight lines here for the wall. The light is coming from this side. So a little bit like the sphere. Let's see. Yes, cast shadow goes off. If the light's coming from this way, the cast shadow is going here. Cast shadow. Right? Light is coming from here. We're going to start with super dark, 5 here. I think we should have time to do the open cylinder too. If you guys don't mind, we might, oh, we can't go later because we have another class starting. Never mind. We'll pick it up. If we don't have time to do the open face cylinder, I'll start it next week before we go on to our lesson. Right? This is like a 3 around here. This goes back up to a 4 or a 5 there. And then once again, we're going to start with this very light gray. It's like a 2. And then just like the sphere, we're going to get a little bit heavier for the core shadow, but then we're going to leave this little edge. And it's all going to be soft edges. And it's going to get a little bit lighter here. This class, this Zoom link is used for all classes right now. I think I might add another Zoom link for the new beginning drawing classes next year. But right now, we all the teachers use the same link. So there is a class that starts at 10. Yeah, meow. Come on up. Come on, buddy. Is this helpful to you guys, this lesson? Is this helpful?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, extremely helpful. Okay, good. I like it. I always find it a little bit like work-a-day. Like we don't wind up with anything totally exciting like we did last week when we managed to get all those great birds in. But it's a good like kind of base lesson because we're going to use this next week when we start drawing things. Notice that you're also going a little faster now than you were at the beginning. Notice also that this is a practice. You can try this again on your own, right? You can try this again with the recording if you want to. Or you can just try it on your own. You have this in here with all the kind of labeling on it, and you kind of know, oh, I like how strong. So I really noticed in here how strong that reflected edge is. It's very light against my dark. So I'm doing two things. I'm getting very heavy and dark on the edge next to that edge of where the reflected light is, and I'm getting heavier and darker on the other side as well. See how that pronounces this little reflected edge? So really, if you want to think about it, this little reflected edge is one side of the sphere. This part, which is dark, is another. This part, which is medium, is light. And this part is medium, is another side. And this light is another side. So you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. Even though it's smooth and round, you know, smooth round things also have sides. And then I'm like, this lines are too heavy. So I'm extending it outward to go everywhere. So it's not so dramatic. That does not hurt my drawing. This is a very sloppy. Indeed. Notice that like the cube and unlike the sphere, we don't have this really dark core shadow like right here. Right, cast shadow, because we can't see anything between, we can't see the part of the table that's under the object because it's flat here. If it was rounded up like a ball, we would see a tiny little bit, which is why you have that dark. But this is flat. It's like a cup. It sits flat on the ground. It, of course, doesn't look like it, right? This is a curved line. This doesn't look like it's sitting flat on the ground, but that's because perspective. And that's all I'm going to say. I say anything else. Even though it's a perfect segue into perspective, we're not going to talk about that exactly yet. Yeah, so your homework assignment, should you choose to do it, is to repeat this exercise on your own using this, which I've sent through the thread. But you do not, there's no homework really in this class. It's only if you want it. It's only if you get bit by the bug, the drawing bug, and you want to do more. Oh, shoot. And we worked so hard. I didn't even do the how do you feel now exercise. All right, we'll do that next week. I'll remember to do that next week. We've got about 10 minutes left, so you guys got plenty of time. When you think you've got them, send them across. So when you get to Mocha Echo, you're going to look at edges in paintings. Like even abstract edges have paintings, and you're going to observe that like the paintings that are the most powerful have very strong edge definition, meaning one side's lighter, one side's darker. Maybe they do it with color, right? This should help you. Here, hold on.
Yes, I'm ready to look at
Yes,
paintings.
you're ready. Now you're really ready
yeah.
to look at it. Oh, nice, nice, Angie. That's great. Let's see, Echo. It's kind of, oh, wait. What are you? Yeah, that looks great. These all look great. Good job, you guys. Doyen, really beautiful transitions here. I see your transitions. The only thing I'm going to push you on, because I love everything else about this, is get your cast shadow heavier. Right? Because that's heavier. And you can't really, and it starts about here. It starts coincidentally where the darkest part of where the core shadow starts on the object. So you probably weren't sure exactly where it started, which is why you fudged it there. So you want this to be like a 5 here, and that to be like a 4-ish. Start here, come out. Nice work though. I like the progression I'm seeing. And I like your reflected edge. Very nice. Good job, you guys. You're doing great on this. To me, the big aha moment of this lesson was the reflected edge. I had no idea it was there. And once you start looking for it, you really see it. You could see it there. Nice work. And we don't have time to do this, but I'm just going to show it to you really quick. One of the really cool things about an open cylinder, like a cup, which is right here, is that if the light is coming from this side, notice that inside the cylinder, the light hits on the opposite side. Outside the cylinder, it's darker, but inside the light hits on the opposite side. See that? So, unlike all these others where we have solid tops, right? It's just light all the way across. When you have an open object, the light bounces in here and it bounces off here. So you switch, you flip. See how this is flipped? These shadows are flipped for the inside of the cup and the outside of the cup. I also found that really helpful to know. I wouldn't have known it. When you look at it, you see it's totally happening, but that's not something you intellectually, you're able to see unless you know it's there. So even though we didn't have time to do this, we'll pick it up more in the next week or two. If you want to, you can notice that. So light coming from this side, the inside of the cylinder is lighter on the opposite side of the light. The inside of the cylinder is darker, closer to the light. And on the outside of the cylinder, which is here, it works the way we've seen in all of our other objects, which is that its light is closest to the light source, and then it gets gradually darker as it moves away. I'm sending all the recordings across the thread and also through email, so you all have them. I'll forward all of the stuff down. Of course, as Agatha, as you point out, the moment you join the thread, you don't have anything that's back in it. We have to re-forward it, but I think you have the recording from the email. So, but I will forward it down. Lessons 1 and 2, I'll have this up in an hour. And as we start to wind down, well, just keep working. Oh, beautiful, Angie. I love your reflected edge. Is this the inside or the outside? Is this the first one? The cylinder with the solid top?
Yes, it's a solid top.
Okay, so I just see there's a little smudge on that right. Beautiful transitions there. And I love your reflected edge. You see how it just glows? Nice. It's just glowing. And that's because the edge is really strong. So funny. Beautiful. So you might as well try this one. Same shape. I'm not going to push it because I don't want to pressure anybody to do it, but you might as well, if you have 5 minutes left, just try it. I don't know where our other teacher is. That's really funny. I don't even know where our other students are. Normally they pop on by now. So like I have no idea where everybody is. But we'll just take advantage of that and stay on until they get here. This over so you can see both. It's also true that depending on where you are in the drawing process, these lessons may or they may not land with you the way they will if you have more drawing experience under your belt. That's kind of one of the great things about drawing. Like you draw for a while, and sometimes that's what you need to be able to know what's hard about drawing. And then you go back and you're like, oh, that's what that rule means. So might be a little, for the beginners, this might be a little intellectually like, what? I don't even know how to apply this yet because you haven't drawn enough to know. But you'll see over time that this is a kind of fundamental lesson. I actually will, from time to time, take a beginning drawing class. It's been a while. It's been about 4 years since I've taken the last one. But I take it because even though I've now been doing this 25 years and teaching like 15 of them, I find I always learn new things as a new teacher teaches me something. And then I always learn something new about my own understanding of art. So there's always this way of deepening this. The beautiful thing about art is as you do more, it's like you're building, it's like how we learn language, really. It's you're building this vocabulary, this brick wall of experience that helps you, right? Hi, Lado,
Exactly.
how you doing?
You can learn the language, but will you write great prose on it? That's up to you.
All right. Hey, Lado. Some of you met Lado last week. Agatha, and Doyen, this is Lado Pochqua. It says Leah Kohlenberg, but that's because he's using
It's my second identity.
Yes, we actually have decided over time that we are the same person, just one male and one female. We have very similar personality traits. It's terrifying. Lado and I met, how many years? 20 years ago in Budapest?
It's scary,
15.
isn't it?
A long time ago. We met a long time ago when we were both living in Budapest. And he is one of my dear friends and one of my favorite teachers. And I'm really happy that he's here teaching. So actually, if anybody wants to stay on and keep working on this, they can do that, right, Lado?
Yeah. I jump in because it's 1 o'clock. It's now my
It's your time.
class.
But
Yeah.
if you want to stay and sort of meet some of the other students, although I don't see anybody yet, I don't know it's just 10 o'clock. It's just 1 o'clock right now. So it's whatever 00 o'clock, wherever you happen to be. Yeah, anyway. How you doing, Lado?
I'm doing great. It's a good it's a good kind of like comparison to language, you know?
It
The
is.
more you exercise, better you are. You can learn the language, you can learn how to draw, but then can you become a writer on it? I mean, it's different. It's
a
what I do.
It's a levels.
That's what I do. I'm turning them into the Jeannie. Hi.
Hi, Jean. Jean, look, this is the beginning drawing class. Aren't they great?
Hi, beginning drawing class.
They're adorable. Sorry, I don't mean that in that way, but you guys are really pretty great. And you can stay on as long as you want. So if you want to keep working on this, stay on. You can send stuff to actually, if you want to keep working on it, I can even add you I might add all of you to the next class thread, to Lado's class thread, just in case. Here, I'm gonna leave here.
Yeah, what are you guys working on? Values in drawing?
Shading, yeah, shading and mark making with a pencil. So like, how do you do soft edges? It's really this guy. I'll send it
Yeah.
across the thread. Just how to shade 5 different objects. And I was just saying before you got on that, like, this is one of those lessons you could repeat over and over and over again. And the more you do, the more you know. Would
Yeah,
anybody
yeah,
like
it's
to be added to Lotto's class thread? Echo, are you done or you want to jump in? Okay, let me get you in. Wait, maybe I can do this.
Yeah, but I will have to jump.
You'll have to leave,
So,
yeah.
What's he
yeah,
working
yeah.
on today?
All right.
Hi, Echo. We just met a couple days ago at Warburg Pincus.
Oh my God. Yes, of course.
Jean,
Since I'm considered Reuters legacy.
yes,
Nice to see you again.
that's exactly the way to say it. That is exactly the way to say it. All right, it might take me a second because I don't know if I have accepted you guys as contacts. If I haven't accepted you as contacts, let's see what happens. Let's see if any of you show up in my contact list. Dang it.
Jeannie, what are you working on today?
My doggy.
Oh, you still continue that painting?
Yeah, he needs some detail work.
I like background. It's toned down
That
and it's
looks so
exactly
nice.
what you needed. Fantastic, fantastic. I mean, it's like a view of a doggy from like above of a doggy. No, it's very interesting.
It's
it
like the
reads
doggy looking up at you. It's a
The
doggy.
doggy looks
He
up.
is,
It's
yeah,
really hard
yeah.
to kind of capture. She really did that.
She's
Recreating
getting
host.
good.
I'm gonna
You
be
guys, these-
host here, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna make you the host. Hold on,
All right,
and then
all right.
I will leave. But I'm also trying to get everybody added on this.
So
Just to
Leah,
make
tell me, are you
everyone-
still keeping Portland weird and strange?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good. Don't let it fall into the mediocrity and
I'm working on it. I'm
All
working
right.
on it, man. Last night I was walking downtown and I saw in one of the empty storefront windows a Slee Stacks production. I don't know if you guys, you might be too young for this, but there was a show in the 1970s that I watched called Land of the Lost. It's like gross, like creatures that went.
yeah.
It was like a
And you saw
cheesy
those in-
sci-fi show.
Hey, you can
Yes.
turn those empty storefronts into pop-up galleries, you know?
Exactly. That's what some people did is they turned it into a pop-up
Yeah, you can
gallery
just rent it for a
honoring the
week or
Slee
two.
Stack.
Just put your art and it's fantastic. Yeah.
Yes. Hold on. I'm making you the host. Now hang on. Maybe you are the host already. Are you the host?
Yeah, I did. I am a host.
Okay,
right
so I can just leave. Okay. But I'm gonna hang
Okay,
out for just
you
a
just
minute.
leave.
No, I'm not leaving yet. I'm gonna grab everybody. I have to make all these people contacts so I can add them into your thread.
You guys more welcome to stay. I can guide you through many things.
Oh, nice work,
And so
Echo. Yeah.
Some people will gonna join us. We have like people will be a little bit late. And they have a fabulous time. So it says, so you work, how are you working in the car? It's amazing. I
Isn't
never
that
done it
incredible?
before.
She's in the Berkshires right now, not far from you, I suppose.
Oh, where are you?
You're on
I
mute.
don't- I can hear. I cannot hear you.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. I just got to Mass Mocha. I'm about to go inside the museum.
So I
Yes.
never been. I never
yeah.
been to Masmoka.
This is my
It's
I think third time. I love it. It's beautiful. And it's also all the leaves have turned in the back.
yeah,
It's-
East Coast.
it's kinda-
You know what? I would recommend you take your notebook and make sketches. of
I will.
something you
I will
like.
do that.
I don't know the collection. I'm assuming it's a lot of conceptual art of 60s, 70s, and that stuff, right, Leah? You've been to Masmoka.
Yeah, I love Mass Mocha. Agatha, great work.
Do
Really
they
great
have
work.
like a 20th century avant-garde collection, or is just like conceptual art?
It's been a long time. Echo, what would you say?
I think
It's been many
I
years.
can't remember. Yeah, last time I was here was 2022. So I
So
can't.
what did you see there? That'll
I
help
think
us
it's
answer
a lot
that
of like
question.
20th century modern art, like
It's very
post,
modern
yeah,
focused.
post. I want to say
do
post
they have
war.
like obligatory Picassos and Matisses, or it's
That I don't remember. But that I can always go back to
or for Mass Mocha, art
to
starts
map,
in
yes.
1960s with Joseph
I
Koschut,
think so.
Robert
I think it's
Rauschenberg,
mostly
and Andy
post-war.
Warhol.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
But I'll bring my pencil and my sketchbook. If I see anything, I can.
Just do something. The hand was always work. Diana, hello. Hand should always work, and you wouldn't believe yourself. Like in a couple months, you would be like, I did that. Yeah, it would be you. You know.
That I'll do that.
Yeah,
But it's very.
It's very
Sorry.
technical skill. The drawing is very technical skill. It's acquirable.
That is very encouraging.
Being artist, that is a little bit, it's different. That's what we're doing here.
It's very encouraging.
And Diana and Agata, before you leave, Agata, this is the person I was talking about, Diana Lungeas. So Agata's in Gdansk, but she speaks and Polish, but she speaks Swedish.
Oh, we have Polish coming.
Och
We have
varför
Polish coming.
pratar du svenska?
Varför? Jag lärde mig på universitetet. Så jag har magister i...
Studerar du i Sverige?
Nej, jag gjorde 2 terminer Erasmus-utbyte, men jag har aldrig liksom tagit examen där eller något som jag har mest studerat här.
Yeah, maybe you don't want to leave, you know.
I'm hanging for a little while. I'm going to be
Don't
here
leave.
for a
It's
little
a fun.
bit. I'm
It's
enjoying
getting
it.
interesting right now. We're becoming like Swedish speaking class.
Yeah, we can
I'm
combine.
slowly adding all you guys in to
So
my.
Agata, are you in Warsaw now?
In Gdansk.
Gdansk.
Yeah.
We have another lady coming from Gdansk right
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
Annick,
the-
right?
now. Where is she actually? She's always the first.
She's not here today.
Oh, she's not gonna be here today?
She's not going to be here today. At least I
Oh
think
my-
she told me she wasn't making drawing. I didn't know if she was going to make painting. She said she was busy today. Yeah, Lotto, just so that you know, the biggest Reuters like European office is in Gdansk, Poland. So
Amazing.
everybody,
It's very interesting how Gdansk is like represented here. All right,
No.
good. Solidarność, Gdansk,
Yeah,
good.
that's the place. Yeah.
it's the place. All right.
All right. So Agata, what you working on?
You mean in terms of drawing or at Reuters?
Yeah, in terms of drawing. We're talking only about drawing.
Oh, this is
Or
my
art.
first class ever, so we were just doing those shapes. So
Oh, fantastic.
You could work, Agata, on the sphere since.
So now,
what
guys,
you
I want to
have-
tell you. So what's so Agata Dionyso? What's her name?
Doyen Sola.
Doyen Sola.
Doyan Sola. Hello, my name is Lado. And
Nice to meet you.
Ajana, right? Hi, Ajana. So there is the very simple thing with those shapes. Don't treat those shapes lightly. From those shapes, you can build the entire universe. There is
Yep.
Italian draftsman of 17th century called Luca Cambiaso.
I
So
love him.
I'm gonna send the. So he used geometrical shapes.
Here, wait, Lotto, just a second, because I'm going to add them to this thread so
Yeah,
that
add them
they
to
can
the
see
thread.
what you're doing. Give me 2
So-
seconds.
As soon as you familiar with the shapes, cylinder and a cube. So cylinder is a neck, cube maybe a little bit prolonged. It's a head, and so on. You're going, and your cylinder is my hand, And so as you know that how it goes, you can build the figures. Did you
And
add
then
all-
tiny little pain in the ass cylinders for your fingers. So
Oh, those are
cylinders.
you can immediately see competence of the artist, how he treats the hand. If someone always has figures with the hands behind and standing, that's it, has no idea how to draw. Anyway, so now I'm gonna find you Luca Cambiaso. I'm gonna send you.
Yep, I'm just adding these guys on.
And I just sent you where I'm at.
Okay, I'm gonna take a look.
Echo, it says I can't add you, but you can. Yes, we'll see you. It says I can't add you, but I sent you an invite on WhatsApp.
I
to
got the
join
invite.
chat.
I'm gonna join the group, and
I
lovely to see everyone. I'll
Lovely
hope
to see you. Have
next
fun at
week.
Mass Mocha.
Thank you.
Have
Thank you
fun
very
day.
much. It was great.
Ow,
Thank you.
Ay, son.
Keep Portland weirdly.
My-
Yes, and I haven't left quite yet. Hang on, I need to get Dorian Sola on here.
Julia is so playful. She's going bananas. You're going bananas.
That's Julia.
Yeah, she's climbing me. Not right this second, but
She loves her mom.
mm-hmm.
All right,
And
hang
in
on. I
fact, it
didn't-
would be nice if you guys can copy a couple of figures from Cambiaso, just in terms of
Yeah, absolutely, we can add that
just Lee,
in.
Lee, I want to show you to see how it's all translatable. It's not just the exercise for no reason.
Why can't I find Dan Sola's number, which I just.
Diana,
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful.
Oh yeah, I use those. I thought that was Congresio. It's not, who is it? It's I thought that
Luca
was
Cambiaso.
Congresio. Cambiaso, okay.
So
I've
he
been
was a
calling that
classical
guy
painter, but like
Congresio forever.
and assuming many of them use that kind of technique, a geometrical simplification, just it didn't wasn't saved, you know, as
Yeah.
the little sketches, but he's kind of saved. And that's what you can do. You can just do figure.
Can
out
you
of-
put the name, can you put his name down? God, I've been
Yeah.
telling people wrong this whole time. Here, I thought
Yeah,
this was
okay.
Congresio's
Just give me
drawing.
seconds.
Congresio.
Cambiaso,
It's
yeah.
that's general. Let's see, beginning drawing.
Okay.
D. Edit that. Why can't I? There we go. Now. All right, Darren, so I'm on.
So it's not Cubism, it's not modernism, it's not 20th century art. It has nothing to do with Cubism. Cubism had a different reasons
For
of
using-
simplification of it. Cubism is analysis of the figure around. It's kind of like artist imagines if he has one point of view, he can analyze from all. Cubism is intellectual game of kind of wealthy, well-fed European civilization before First World War. And this is different. This is just a preparatory drawings for something he would do. It's not a game, it's just a stage, just a stage of work. So you can use that, you can really use that.
Excellent. Oh, beautiful work, Agatha. Beautiful. You want to push that the halftone, right? Which is kind of your dark is kind of your dark core shadow is overtaking a little bit your halftone, which should
Yeah.
be lighter. So yeah, Lotto, you're not seeing this. So if you want Lotto to see what you're doing, you need to send it across the Sunday art class thread, which I've
You guys
added
are
you to.
more than welcome, more than welcome. let's
Beautiful.
get to it. Let's just, you're just starting, right? That's the first class kind of
Actually,
like
you know what?
start-
I'm just gonna send him over so you have them. That's Angie's. Anjana's. This is Agatha's.
So first is Anjana, very nice shading,
Yeah.
very nice shading, really, really good job.
I just introduced this figure to the figure
So
drawing class.
Agatha, are you using watercolor paper?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, so I mean, of course, it's not designed for drawing, but you can use that, coarseness of it. So your drawing will have that. Do you know the drawings of the great French artist Georges Seurat?
No.
Seurat is the one of the guys who created pointillism. You know, the post-impressionist painting with the dots. Just optically kind of analyzing object and then using the dots of paint, you creating the picture. So he's a canonical kind of artist, but his drawing, he used charcoal and he used coarse watercolor paper, like you using this cold press watercolor paper. And then you can take those little white spots, because you cannot, you can take it as your allies, They could be your thing, your shtick, as New Yorkers would say, Could be your spiel, as New Yorkers will say again. So, or not, you can use regular paper. But now I see there is a coarseness, and take it as an ally. It brings kind of vibrancy to the drawing. Meanwhile, I'll try to send you Georges Seurat drawings, just to see, because. Yeah, it's very interesting. Maybe if you're comfortable, continue draw on that paper. It's a little bit pricey, but
it's it makes an interesting.
Yeah, I mean, okay, let me go, Georges Seurat.
I don't know why, Doyen, but for some reason, WhatsApp is not letting me add you to this class. So I just sent a link across beginning drawing so you can join this thread.
Okay,
The
sure.
Sunday class thread. Anyway, great work, you guys.
Thanks.
I also have to drop, but it was great seeing everyone.
Take
Good to
care.
see you.
Nice to
Good to
meet
see
you.
you. Yeah, we'll see you next week
Nice
for
meeting you.
more.
Yeah, I think I'll drop for now as well. because-
Agatha, I think you made up the hour you missed.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
I think you did good. You
yeah.
have no catching up to do, except for the last lesson. If
Well,
you
that's
want to.
lesson, of course,
Agatha, stay for a sec. Are you leaving?
I was going to, but there's no rush. But-
Yeah, just give me a second. I'm gonna send you a drawing, and then.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the reason I have watercolor paper is because I'm trying to teach myself watercolor.
Yeah.
So I just went with whatever I had.
Oh yeah, you were asking about that. I can
yes.
send you some lessons. I'm not doing that in your time zone, but there is a YouTube channel with all of our recorded classes, and I can send you the beginning classes I taught at the beginning of this year on watercolor. So you can
that
do
would be
them using the
amazing.
video. Yeah, I can totally do that. I'll send that to you separately and I'll
Yeah.
send that also out as a resource to
So I sent you
everyone.
drawing. I sent you drawing. It's a portrait of his mother in charcoal on paper.
Oh,
And so
that's
that's
beautiful.
that's the
Wow.
watercolor paper with the.
Damn.
You see those white spots?
Yeah.
He uses that.
Okay, wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah, you can see it's like a French woman,
Mhm.
end of 19th century, probably sitting by the lamp, gas lamp, sewing something or something. It's very intimate. You can build narrative around just that face, but it's that what you're doing. It's this coarse, cold watercolor paper.
Mhm.
All right,
Okay.
guys, that was a great to see you all.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
You're
you guys
always
are
welcome,
always
always
welcome
welcome.
to stay. That's why this class has been designed this way. And Anjana's going right into midnight now, aren't you?
Yeah, and so I'm gonna just tell you, once you're more comfortable with your skills little bit and you want to build portfolio around the skills, have like coherent serious
Then you come to this
support
class.
or explore idea. You have an idea, you want to do something with some kind of idea, you know, you want to make illustration for fairy tale or something, come to that class and we will work on
And
that.
and next week will be easier for you guys because we're going over to winter time, so it will
Right.
be 1 hour earlier
Oh,
for
yeah.
you guys.
Where is the rest
Well,
of
for
our people,
Agatha,
Diana?
it'll be the same. It'll go back to normal. She's in the
Yeah,
EU
but
because they had time zone change this week. They
Fantastic.
actually are 1 hour. Yes,
Not
Europe
Sweden.
and the UK did it this week, today. So she will go back, but India and China, Asia will definitely have start an hour earlier. So
Yeah,
But Sweden
Yes.
is in EU and they haven't changed yet.
India.
are you
wow.
sure about that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where in
Well,
India?
everybody else did. Everybody else
Okay.
in the EU went to 1 hour earlier. I mean, they changed today. So, or last, like
Right.
today at 2 a.m. So, yeah, it was fun. I found that out about an hour before class started.
Oh, good. Okay, then it's no difference.
My life will be
It'll be
easier.
no difference.
My life will be easier. That 1 hour, a lot for me.
My life is really fucking difficult.
Why? What
With the
happened,
time
Leah?
zone, I have to tell you, it makes me crazy.
Why? What happening in your life?
Because an
Damn
hour
time
before
zone.
class started today, Lotto, I realized that EU and UK start 1 hour earlier. We do our time zone change next week. They do it today.
Oh, they did
So,
it today.
They did it today, and I didn't
Oh
figure
my
that
God.
out until an
This-
hour before class.
This is something we can thank W. Bush for. He was the one who decided that it would be great to extend daylight savings time in the US. So now we change it a different time than the rest of the world.
Who is
Yeah,
that?
of
Like
course.
Bush father?
So annoying.
Oh, Bush son.
Bush son.
Ah, that idiot. Okay. If he would
It's
do
so
that,
annoying. That's why it makes my life difficult, Lotto. 2 times a year, it's like with
know,
like all the
I
classes.
know. I mean, yeah, I understand.
All right, I'm gonna take off, you guys.
All right,
Great work
take care.
today. You stay as long as you can. Latochka, good to see you. We'll see you
Take
later.
care. You're fantastic, Leah. You are the best.
You are too, Lotto. We'll see you, and all of
She
you as
is,
well.
she
We'll see you
is.
soon. Love you guys. See you later.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.
Is it okay if I stay on?
Absolutely,
Sure.
absolutely. You stay on and you can draw.
I don't know what to draw.
This is
You don't know
all,
what to draw.
No.
this is all individual teaching, so you'll
I
be
mean-
fine.
I mean, sorry, but you're living in the most visually stimulating country in the world,
That's true.
and so
Stimulating in all senses.
it's stimulating. And so I don't know what to draw. I mean, try to build figure out of shapes. Imagine human figure out of cylinders and cubes, and you can take some photograph or something. You pull some image from internet, and then copying it. You can even trace it from internet. Just trace from the screen,
Okay.
and
I'll
then
find
turn
something.
it into the geometrical shapes.
Yeah. I'll find something.
I wish I could be in India at least once. I've never been to India. But every
Oh, it's
time I'm in JFK and I see these huge jumbo jets ready to fly Delhi with like 20 hours flight, I'm like, I cannot do that.
If I could make a recommendation, you should come, I think, around November or March to a district called Kannur in the state of Kerala. And that
Okay.
is a time when they have something called the Festival of Teyyam.
Okay.
Teyyam. You can look it up.
Yeah.
It is very stunning visually. It's done
Yeah.
at night. There's fire involved. The costumes are all red and black and white
Yeah.
and gold, very intricate headdresses. They
Yeah.
dance, they sometimes put themselves, run through fire and all that.
Yeah.
It's very visually stunning. A lot of
Wow.
photographers
It's
come to
it's
Kerala
like it's
at that
like
time.
It's like Hindu ceremony.
Hindu festival. Yes, specific to lower castes of Kerala, the more marginalized castes celebrate Deyam. So it is like a festival of one of the incarnations of Lord Shiva. So how Shiva came to
Okay.
earth in the form of
So it's like a
certain
certain. It's like a Shiva destroyer.
Yes, but he comes to like he's generally well regarded amongst most marginalized castes in India because he sometimes takes the form of a hunter or a lower caste person and comes and walks among us. That is what they
Very
say.
interesting. Wow.
So they
Shiva.
do all these elaborate costumes, and the person who dons the costume supposedly gets possessed by Shiva himself. So he can give out prophecies, he'll call people for blessings, and he'll dance until he's like exhausted, and then he won't have any memory of what he's done. So it's a ritual of sorts. It's very visually stunning. I can send over a photo if you like.
Please send it. I'm a familiar. I'm well learned into Hinduism.
Oh, okay.
I know the main like
And why is that?
Huh?
And why is that?
Why is that? Because first of all, I had interest always towards India, and the second, after fall of Soviet Union, a lot of mysticism came. The things were prohibited, you know, and with that, Hare Krishna came. You know, one of the like movements, you know, with Prabhupada, one of the gurus, and so a lot of my friends actually jumped to that thing. But once you start, you know, once you start kind of getting to know, when you know, it's like never-ending names of the same God, never-ending gods, and Mahabharata, and then the Bhagavad Gita, and then you going to Ramayana, and then you're going deeper and deeper. And all I know, I don't know nothing about it. I just know Shiva is destroyer, and Vishnu is the one, and Krishna is the, you know, it's that. I know who Arjuna was, and I know what Bhagavad Gita starts with a call for arms and stuff like that. So I know a little bit about it, you know. I'm interested right now in Great Moguls. It's, of course, it's a different type of, a different part of India. It's Muslim. I'm very much interested in it, about it. I don't know why. I think with the connection to European art, there's a lot of connection, and there's a connection of Europeans. There is drawing. I'm gonna go downstairs, show you drawing. Then Rembrandt copies Mughal.
Yes, he used to.
He copies the image of Dara Shikoh, that the prince, you know, who translated Upanishads from Hindi to Persian, you know.
Yes.
And got killed by his brother. So that story is very interesting for me. So Ginny, they all killed by the brother. You coming to the power, you're killing all your brothers and sisters right away. Yeah, it's yeah.
So no one can threaten your power.
You're putting your dad into the prison and stuff like that, and then you're gonna be killed. It's like it's very brutal dynasty, Mongols. And so I'm interested in that very much. And of course, like when you're growing up in Soviet Union, all those Indira Gandhi and like a Rajiv Gandhi and all that, you know, like Jawaharlal Nehru, like you're reading Rabindranath Tagore, like Bengali, and it's just interesting. But I never been. That's so strange.
There's always time you can come.
Absolutely. I just need to take nice ambient pill and just to sleep on that flight. But I would tell you something. I always thinking you should take that what you just described to me, that wonderful Shiva's.
I've sent you photos. You can.
Yeah, you sent already?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So take that as an inspiration for your art, you know, take something that's very close to your heart. It's not necessary banal description of ceremonies, but something that gives the kick, you know, some maybe color palette. Oh wow. Yeah. Maybe color palette, you know, you can be abstract painter, but like color palette, you know, or the way you're drawing, you know. And you can see on the photo you send, there is like on the right side, there is the person also taking picture, you know. There is hand holding iPhone or some kind of smartphone.
It's a very popular festival for photographers.
Yeah, fantastic. It's so many things. Oh wow, here is the fire. Here is the guy going in fire.
They will take hot coals and they'll pour it on themselves. Supposedly they don't feel pain.
Yeah. All
That sounds
that,
like
I
fun.
know. Tantric meditation. I mean, it's all, yeah, it's very interesting. Interesting. There is a famous Italian-American artist, Francesco Clemente. So he is a big fish in New York art world, like hundreds, thousands, his prices. And he keeps that for several decades now, being top. So he moved his studio to India. That's where he just works and takes inspiration, and not the cultural appropriation, not at all. It's just that he continues his thing, you know, but it's just with a little bit of kind of like it's very interesting.
I think Indians don't really believe in cultural appropriation. I mean, the mainland ones.
I don't believe in cultural appropriation.
Neither do I. If we feel very happy when we see people imitating us.
Absolutely, I don't believe in cultural appropriation at all. I think it's a desire to punish adventurous people, you know.
I suppose it had a good intention sometimes, but then sometimes, like, I see people saying, okay, you can't do this. Like, they get offended on behalf of Indians, like, you can't wear sari. And I'm like, no, why no?
No, you can. You can. I mean, if it's like, I was, so yesterday my daughter went to the birthday party, the 80 years old. And one of the classmates came, he's a Chinese kid, Chinese American kid. The parents just immigrated, and he's like, so he came with the cello. And he played Happy Birthday on the cello, you know, that Happy Birthday to. So he played on the cello, dressed in European clothes. And I was thinking, it's a wonderful, beautiful thing. No one, but if I will go somewhere dressed like a Chinese man and playing Chinese instrument, they would be immediately called cultural appropriation, strangely enough. No, I think it's one of the.
Come to India and play a sitar that way, they'll love you.
Absolutely, but sitar is, I'm so sorry, it's such a complicated instrument. You know, I had the biggest regret of my life. I came to America in 2004. I've been here before that, but to 2004, I came to Ann Arbor, Michigan. And Ann Arbor is a big university, and they had a wonderful concert series. And there was the concert of Ravi Shankar.
Oh, right, yes.
And I bought the tickets. And I forgot about concert. I missed the concert because I was just settling. And so I have a ticket. I collecting the tickets of my concert. And so I have a ticket of the Ravi Shankar concert. I never seen him, you know?
Oh dear.
Yeah, so sitar, I mean, that's one of my kind of, how did I manage not to, so that's the sitar. Yeah, I think like and especially now everything, look at we have like a California, New York, India. I mean, everything is mixed up. People gonna use it no matter what you say. It's just one of the Western tools to punish people. There is a lot of tools right now to cancel and punish people, and so they're using that. It's especially young people. This is a generation of punishers coming. They wanna There is no argument going on. If not, I agree with you, they're canceling you. So that's gonna backlash.
I think we have
Tremendously
more to
politically.
worry about the oligarchs of the world today. I mean, the oligarchs in America that's canceling, endorsing presidents, and
Yeah, but that's the big fish. But I'm talking about little guys who got punished for something.
yeah, but the
There's
little
like, if there
guys,
is element of racism in it and mockery, it's one thing, you know. Of course, it should be
the small
addressed and-
fish, the small fish won't have any say if the oligarchs take over in this country.
Are they taking over?
Yes,
Might, they're trying.
they're trying.
Everything will be great, guys. I'm telling you, Kamala
Trump-
got it.
Trump and
But she also
Bezos
supported
and
by very rich
Musk.
people. I wouldn't say she's not. She raised $1 billion her campaign, you know.
Yeah, but she is not an oligarch herself.
Yeah.
But Trump has all the oligarchs on his side.
Yeah, it's kind of alarming, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very alarming.
It's not nice, but I'm trying not to think about it, live my life. And
Yeah, that will help.
so you see what I'm saying right now. The Beatles, the Harrison loved Indian culture. He was Hare Krishna, so he found a lot of inspiration. He played sitar. He played sitar in 1966, the Revolver, first album, where it's like sitar used and stuff like that. Today wouldn't be some stupid people who stop shouting it's cultural appropriation. You cannot do that. You see the difference? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. He comes from a position of life. He really wanna, and he's saying, I would never play sitar. It's like, it's impossible, you know, if you're not there from childhood, and it's impossible, but beautiful instrument too. I listen a lot of ragas in my life. That's so strange too. It's
Is
strange,
this what
yeah.
you meant by figures? Like breaking it down
I
into-
cannot see it. It's just white.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
yeah. Look at that. Yes. Yes, exactly. Very
Not
good.
sure. I'm not sure if I got the proportions right though. So.
You didn't. It's little bit probably. Torso should be slightly taller and maybe less bulkier.
I use this as a reference, so I think
Uh-huh.
she is a little bit. She has a little bit of a short.
Okay, so
torso.
that's fine. It's fine. You can. No. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Oh my God, it's very good. It's very good. But now you can make another one. You can make yourself something. You can use your photo, not you, but photo you took of someone or yourself too as a reference. And then there would be totally your art, not a reference from internet or something. You understand what I'm saying? So you can take photos of models. You can, and it's a simple tool really to get to the core of the shapes, you know? And then you can start building your portfolio, your things, you know? It's you would have your own unique color schemes, something none of us would have because we're all different. We're all drawn to different colors, you know? Every time I start painting, I'm going to the blue, you know? I'm telling myself so many times, don't do that, but like, it's just,
That makes sense.
I should work more with earth colors. I love it, you know? I don't know why I'm not.
So Lado, I'm just sending you again. I've been
Okay, let
fiddling
me
a little
see.
bit with the leaves.
Let's see.
I need your advice. I might have to do something on the right side of the pomegranate.
Okay, so look at the values on the right side of the button, because the shade on the pomegranate and the wall are the same value. Are they the same on the photo?
Not really, because
So
it's
which one is lighter?
darker to the light. It's darker to the right.
So, but a wall darker or a pomegranate, the shade at the bottom of it, you know what I'm talking about? It's
Yeah,
the
the light is coming pretty much from above.
yeah, let me see the original. I have it here somewhere. I
But
will not make you.
I'm just trying to make the colors work because that's the ground. What you see on the left is the wall. And
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the
yeah.
right, you see the ground.
So you're absolutely right. You know, the shade of pomegranate and the wall are the same kind of value. I'm just looking at your photo. I'm talking about shade on the bottom of a pomegranate and the wall
Okay.
behind it. It's the same brown. But here is the thing. Between the wall and the pomegranate, there is a lot of green leaves. And the green leaves are lighter than the pomegranate. If you put the leaves, it's a lighter pomegranate, it will pump up.
So you think the leaves should be lighter than they are here?
I'm gonna take a look.
I just
Yeah,
want,
little bit
wanted
lighter.
the-
There is little bit more leaves around it in the bottom, and so that green distinguish between pomegranate and the wall. And so another thing I would like you to do, it's beautifully painted. It's almost over. So on the right side with the leaves, you can introduce some little bit of bluish. It's not on the photo, but you can give a little bit of
yeah,
paint.
I did that, and then I painted over the blue leaves.
Not blue leaves, but a little bit something, some couple
yeah.
touches. And
Okay.
I think if you put greenery between bottom of pomegranate and the brown wall, couple leaves, it will come down and it's done. It's done.
Okay. Yeah, my thought was that I would have the leaves connected to the pomegranate, like detail, and
Yeah.
everything else like
So right now, as I see that it's beautifully painted, it's readable what it is. It has sun behind it. It's wonderful piece. It's just only detail of the shadow of pomegranate and the wall of the same color.
okay.
So you just need to, and they are in the photograph. So you're doing everything. So, but between them, little bit light leaves, and that makes it
Okay.
better.
I'll try. Let's see where we
That-
get.
That woman just disappeared. Okay. It's crazy how much India was in the Soviet Union psychic, you know?
Oh. Okay, more leaves.
It's very interesting. It's very quarrelsome culture in terms of gods are quarreling, you know? It's all, it's interesting. More leaves, yeah, and it's done. It's done. You should absolutely be proud of it. It's beautifully painted. Don't rush, just a finesse, and then put this varnish over it, acrylic varnish.
Okay.
And it will be shiny, beautiful pomegranate right there. You can give it as a gift for your husband.
I should be the one getting gifts from my husband.
Absolutely,
The other way
absolutely, I
Damn it.
agree.
around.
Yes, damn it.
Yes.
Absolutely, I agree, guys. I agree. Oh my God. So, guys, election. What do you got? What do you
I
say?
voted today.
You voted today. Good. I should go and vote
Voted.
too.
I voted a week ago.
Yeah, we just started. Yeah, we just started in Pennsylvania. Important.
Yeah, I don't know. It's scary.
I'm gonna go downstairs. My son is playing basketball today. I'm gonna go downstairs, and I'll be back in a couple minutes. Okay, 5 minutes.
Okay.
All right. I want you to put your money home. Okay, I want you to put your shorts.
Yeah, I think it's so scary to see how the oligarchs are.
What do you think of Los Angeles Times and Washington Post? I meant to ask you that yesterday.
I think it's the oligarchs speaking.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know, Bezos and Patrick Soon-Shiong wants to be on in the good grace of Trump. And
yeah.
also Shiong's daughter is a high-strung Palestinian activist. So,
Oh, great.
so she is really, and she gets involved in the newsroom in very many.
Which is so wrong.
Yeah, but she does, and so she is out on Twitter and just saying how the LA Times should not support a presidential candidate that's overseeing a genocide in Gaza.
Well, what do they think is going to happen if Trump wins?
Yeah, I know.
Are they fucking idiots?
Yeah. I just saw that Trump is talking daily to Netanyahu, trying to prevent him from agreeing to a ceasefire, so that Harris will not get any credit for a ceasefire.
Right.
That's charming, isn't it?
Yep. It's just proof about how much he cares about people.
Yeah.
Which is not at all.
Yeah. Just as with the border wall. I mean, I don't get how that's not killing him. That he was
I don't either.
That he stopped the agreement, the bipartisan agreement, just so there couldn't be any credit to the.
Because people don't know. People don't know. People don't listen to mainstream media, which I don't think is doing a very good job of covering it anyway.
No.
And they certainly don't listen to anything that's left wing. They listen to Fox News, and all they get is misinformation and lies.
Yeah. Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
It's very, very scary if he's winning. I mean, a month ago, I didn't think it would be possible that he could win.
Do you know who Rachel Bittercoffer is?
No.
She does a lot of modeling of stuff and research, and she's been very accurate before, and she's convinced that we're going to be okay. So I'm trying to take comfort in that. But
yeah, I mean, I think if young people and women come out to vote, we'll be fine.
So I was going to go yesterday. It was the first day of early voting in New York. And I went, no, it's going to be crazy. I'll go today. It'll be a lot less crazy, which is exactly what happened. I went in there, and after I voted, I said, where's my sticker? And she said, oh my God, yesterday was so crazy. We ran out of stickers. Like, they thought they had enough stickers for a week.
Yeah.
So people are coming out like crazy. And that hasn't happened in a long time. So
I'm not exactly worried about New York and Los Angeles.
Well, I know, but I'm hearing that about other places too.
Yeah. But it's a little bit scary that Republicans are voting.
Yeah, they're voting early too.
Yeah.
I don't know why this dog is so hard to get the details in on.
Oh, it bees that way sometimes.
Feel like all my other dogs I could get right, pretty quickly. This one is beating me up a bit.
All right.
We
I'm
are indifferent.
sorry, guys.
What are you sorry about?
I don't know. I'm always sorry. Jeannie, I have a book recommendation.
Oh, wait, I didn't see it. Sorry. Oh, AS by it. Oh, Matisse.
Matisse Stories. It's a
Cool.
short stories. It's a small, and I think Libby. Do you have Libby?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God, I'm changing your life right now.
You are.
Yeah, Libby is an app, free app. You can link your library cards. Like for example, if you have
Oh,
group.
yeah, I'm linked to the New York Public Library.
So, do you have the app on your phone?
They call it e-reader, but yeah.
No, it's a better app, Libby, and so it's free, and it goes, and they have it. The Matisse Stories they have on Libby,
Oh, okay.
and so it's unbelievably chatty, pleasantly strange, fantastic short stories. Really, sometimes I recommend good books. Sometimes,
You usually do.
yeah, it's pleasure to read that one.
What are you doing, Juju?
So Libby, it's a Libby. And I am here right now. I have an audio book of that book. Matisse Stories. You can hear it, audio book. It's free. It's all free.
Uh-huh.
And incredible. One story is called Artwork. I wonder why we have just us today.
Maybe because the weather's so nice here, nobody wants to be indoors.
Oh, if that's so, I absolutely support that decision.
Sorry, I have to answer work mail when I'm.
Peace.
Mm.
Is this the quietest class we've ever had?
Absolutely. I'm drawing too, that's why.
Yeah.
Make little landscape right here.
Nice.
Next will be loud, I promise you.
Yeah, it's so nice to take. I don't really have time to be here, but it's nice to be here.
Please be here. It's like, it's seriously, it's like, think about how many works we created here, you created here with us, and how it developed you as an artist.
Yeah, I think it's good for not only for the art, but for the rest of what we do. I think,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's a little peace of mind. I like it's a very salon. Leah said right. It's kind of salon, you know. You're just chatting here, expressing ideas, and making art. And art, if you stick, it's I always like if that, for example, that one of those women would stick with the class, right? Who came from Leah's, Agata, or and continue working with me for several months. They wouldn't believe the art, you know. It's a matter of stay. That's what I'm teaching my kids right now, how to stay and not to be frustrated with yourself if it's not working right away.
That's hard.
It's really hard, yeah. But if you think about successful people, all kinds of successful people, you know, in any human, it's ability to fail and stand and do it again, you know.
Yeah.
And do it again and do it again.
like a Russian pop-up doll.
Yeah. How do you remember that? It was like, yeah, there was a pop-up doll, Nivalyashka.
Yeah.
Nivalyashka.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a Russian pop-up doll. Okay, I'm gonna kick that son of mine out of here with his mom.
Okay.
Huh? He has
Okay.
game at 2:30. So it's a 15 minutes drive. Okay. Sorry. Here, I need to go. All right.
I'm in the contemplating phase.
With the pomegranate?
Yeah. I have to look at it and decide what I want to happen.
Maybe it's done?
Not quite. But I don't want to be very detailed, like on anything that's not next to the pomegranate.
Mm-hmm.
Might be a mistake, but that's how I feel.
I think it looks pretty damn good.
Thank you. It's been really fun to paint. It's fun to pick up one piece, just one object,
Mm-hmm.
and just enlarge it. I like it.
All right, I'm sending over my doggy.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's see.
I'm gonna look once I've taken. Care of this neon color I'm putting on.
Wonderful, wonderful. Wonderful, doggy. It's good.
Blend
Good.
just up.
Doggy, good doggy.
Good doggy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny. It's a little bit maybe background a little bit too violet somehow, you know, maybe.
Yeah. I may
That's-
do a gray.
Yeah, a
Hold
little
on.
bit of that, tone it down a little bit, but don't touch the dog.
I gotta blend out around the nose a little bit more.
Little old lady got mutilated last night. Werewolves of London again. Remember the song Werewolves of London?
Oh yeah. Remember the movie? Oh, with An American Werewolf in London?
No, is it a movie?
Oh, it's great.
It's
I'm
the Warren
not
Z
sure
one.
I've seen that one. I'm not sure.
Warren Z one.
Oh, doggy. Doggy. Look how she's come to life.
Trying to.
Yeah. Does that standing ear need a little bit work on the inside?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. But it's very cute. It's super cute. She looks like a princess.
She is a little princess.
Whose dog is that?
My sister's best friend.
Nice.
If you met her, you'd probably go, ew, because she looks like a little Barbie doll. Her hair is always, perfectly coiffed, and her nails are done, and she's really petite, and she dresses really fancy. And you'd look at her and just go, ew, not my kind of person. And yet she is the most down-to-earth, sweet person.
Huh. I never judge people by appearance. I mean, I always listen, you know. If Barbie wants to talk about William Faulkner, I'm here, you know. But if Ken is interested in like avant-garde theater, I'm here too, you know. But like sometimes it's very rare they can. I have a nice light right now coming from that window in my room. American Werewolf of London.
Huh?
Is that movie?
It
It's
was
like
the first. It was the first movie that really kind of took horror and made it funny.
so it's like a historical kind of thing, like 19th century stuff.
Oh no, it's a campy. It's about a kid who gets bit by a werewolf in London, but he's an American. But it's really dark and really funny at the same time.
Okay, okay.
And it was
Yep.
the first movie. I think it's from the 90s, early 90s, maybe late 80s. But it was the first movie that really made horror funny.
I
That
see.
dared
I
to go
see.
there.
Now that's a whole genre.
Oh yeah, now it's a whole genre.
We're watching right now Only Murders in a Building.
Yeah. It's kind of gone off the rail in the last season, but it's really fun.
Yeah, the last season right now, it's not really good.
No. But before that, it was just joy.
Yeah, it was great. But I like Martin Short. I like Steve Martin, you know. I like all kinds of Martins, you know. House Martins. Remember the band House Martins?
No.
No, they later become Beautiful South. And another guy from that band become a Fatboy Slim. Remember that DJ Fatboy Slim?
Oh,
Right
yeah.
here,
Yeah.
right now, right here, right now. No? Doesn't ring the bell. Oh my God, music of my generation is dying. The young people, what they listening, it's totally like, this is it. No connection.
Oh.
Being attacked by my brushes.
Huh?
I'm being attacked by my brushes. They're falling over.
Oh,
Yeah.
attacked by your brushes?
Yep.
The title.
I'm attacked by art supplies my entire life.
Feel I'm just tinkering now.
Oh, it's too loud.
Tinkering. And on top of that, I can't even take a straight picture. See any difference?
Oh, beautiful, yeah. Nice, nice, very nice. I love it. I love this pomegranate.
It's just it went from gorgeous to stunning and gorgeous.
Oh,
No,
Yes.
seriously.
Seriously, it's good. It's good. It has mood. It has light playing in it. It's fantastic. That capture the light is really hard thing to do. You did it.
thank you. Do I need to work more on the leaves?
Up to you, but it could be read like a done, you know. All you need to do is just don't forget to varnish it.
Okay. So this one that I made for that was a commission. Should I varnish this one too?
So what do you think about it? I
I
think
don't
it's done.
Yeah, I think it's
You-
done. Should I
You
varnish?
don't think it's done?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's done. It's done. It's
Should I
beautiful.
varnish? Should I varnish that too?
Yeah, varnish. Varnish always good. Always good.
Okay.
Like all those varnishes, they preserve the paint from UV, you know.
Yeah.
I start putting glasses. I never wore glasses, but I have a bump on my on my iris right now, so I'm like using steroids. And apparently it's like you need to wear glasses in the sun.
Yep.
Same with it's harmless, nothing gonna happen to it, it's just annoying. And same with painting. Gina, I forgot to tell you, I bought West Side Story,
Oh,
Leonard Bernstein conduct, and it's a strange version because it's Kiri Te Kanawa and Jose Carreras.
uh-huh.
It's very like this, you know, and it's like it's very operatic, which is
Yeah.
it's musical. It's not, you know, it should be a little bit lower and but it's beautiful, beautiful. I mean, and I bought another one. I'm still working on musicals, as I promised you. Every week I'm gonna bring something. I bought a Godspell too,
Well, I love that.
and
Which
it's
version of
interesting
Godspell
to
did you
hear.
get?
It's a beautiful melodies and all nice premise about Jesus in New York, but it's so primitively played. The drummer in the opening song. I mean,
It's from the
Eddie
early
DeFalco
70s. It's from like 72.
produced most amazing drummers in the history of pop music. Dude, where did you find that guy? You know?
It was an off-Broadway show when it started. It was, a little podunk thing.
Just bring some jazz guy who will jazz it up a little bit. You know, it's very and it's also recorded. But I love that musical. I love Godspell. So here we are. That's my little bit so
Yay, I've converted you a bit.
a little bit. Yeah, I'm working. I don't like to be the guy who say, I hate musicals. You know, musicals is such a huge thing, you know. There's so much in it, you know.
It's like art. It's or literature. It's when word just plain old speaking words isn't enough to express emotion.
Yeah.
You have to do something. You have to paint it or write a story about it or make it a song because that touches you in a different way.
Yeah. And there is musicals you like, there's musicals you don't like, you know, it's all kinds of stuff.
I'm not fond of every musical.
But Hamilton is fun.
I was thinking about Cats, and I didn't mean to diss it so badly. It's a really good musical to listen to because of
Absolutely.
the songs are fun, but performances of it, no.
It's just overplayed, you know, it's just overplayed.
No, the performance it's meant to be listened. It was like Jesus Christ Superstar and Evita both started off as concept albums, like the Tommy's Who. And some of them shouldn't have been continued in that vein.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, some of them shouldn't have taken it to the next stage to stage it.
Yeah. I mean, I remember, but I might not have had it. I remember seeing Cats in London and I enjoyed it.
Were you a child?
I like poetry. I like Eliot.
Oh yeah.
I think it's fantastic. And I mean, that original recording, the first one is okay. I just don't like the feelings. That song is overplayed, you know. Memories, sorry, not feelings.
Oh, memories. Yeah, that's what I thought you meant.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, I cannot no more.
Yeah, but when I saw it, it was pretty fresh. So
yeah, of course. If I imagine you see it first time, it's amazing, probably.
Yeah.
So West Side Story, I always loved. You know, I watched the movie while still living in Georgia, you know, in Soviet Union, and Yeah, it's interesting. But that version, I mean, it's really operatic, you know, it's beautiful voices, but it's not a street gang culture, you know.
No, 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 no.
Jose Carreras doesn't sound like a street gang guy, you know, but it should be that element of little bit of, you know.
Yeah, I wondered when I saw, I wonder when I saw Cats, I probably have the program still.
I'm being snarky when I say were you a child?
No, but it's, I mean, it's okay.
I think
Yeah,
that
I saw it when it was brand new. I saw it 1981 in London.
okay. So that was probably the best time to see it.
Yeah.
I think my eyes are a little too fuzzy. Other than that, I think he's good.
I think it's good. Yeah, the other guy, it's like there's like 3 dots. It's almost like
Yeah,
smiley
which is in the
face.
photograph, but I'm gonna get rid of some of them because it.
Yeah, it looks good. Wow, I like my light in my room. Look at this.
Yeah,
I can only see half of you because I've got my doggy in the way. Oh yeah, that's very nice.
It's such a great fall here. Unbelievable.
It's beautiful. I was out this morning when I went to vote, and it's like 60 degrees, and it's perfect me weather. I'm just like, oh, this is great.
It's great. It's great. It's great. That's what Diana has every day.
yeah. Well, now the weather is nice. Now it's not very hot. Be right back.
Yeah, musicals. I'm going to explore it. Is Tony of the Hui musical now? Yeah, it is musical.
Yeah, it just closed. I love it, but seeing that one performed, but
Was it successful or not really?
this version wasn't as successful. They tried to simplify it, which I always like it when people simplify things, but
Simplified in terms of like
people weren't
time, like
thrilled
less.
with it.
Huh?
People weren't thrilled. The audiences weren't thrilled. So
What kind of simplification? Musical or just a?
no, staging wise, like the first one had huge pinball machines all over, and this one had, a frame to represent a pinball machine instead of, people want their bells and whistles.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah. Especially if you're paying those prices for those tickets, you know?
Yeah.
You want to see the whole thing. So Broadway is kind of like after COVID, it's kind of immediately went up, and right? It's not kind of affected by COVID and.
Oh yeah, last year the most shows open that have opened in years.
It's like successful now.
Yeah, I mean, there's always like right now, people are trying to get permission to build a big casino in Times Square, and the Broadway theaters. First of all, New Yorkers are fighting against it, and then the Broadway theaters are also fighting against it.
And do you think it's going to happen? Do you think the public is going to win?
I certainly hope so. I don't know, but you know, New Yorkers are
Oh,
hard to
that's
fight when
who's
they get a
behind
bug
it.
up
It's
their
like
butt.
who's behind it? There's big names behind it. Someone.
Oh yeah, yeah. Steve Wynn, you know,
Oh, yeah. That
because
does.
they see all the entertainment dollars that are spent
Yeah.
in New York, and they go, "I want a piece of that."
We
You mean, who's
need
that
the
guy?
guy. We need the Las Vegas guy, the big Las Vegas guy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Was Las Vegas really built by mafia, kind of in a way?
Yeah.
Totally.
Isn't it incredible? How is Nevada gonna vote?
For Trump.
No,
Really?
no, they voted. They went for Hillary.
Nevada did?
Uh-huh. That's because my sister and her husband went up there and drove people to the polls.
Good.
But you know what Republicans doing right now? They're bringing Amish to the polls in Pennsylvania. Amazing, like Amish.
Amish, yeah.
Yeah, because you know, Trump is such a good Christian,
Yeah.
such a man of God.
Yeah. We all
Like-
know that.
There is a two guys, like a vampires. It's a Putin and Trump would not go away.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, just go, just retire or something, or write a book like Putin. You know, just no. The guy is just not.
And
But Trump
that's
can't even do a tweet, so how is he gonna do a book?
yeah.
He had like interview with Joe Rogan. That's
I heard that was a rambling mess.
absolutely 3 hours.
And then he was supposed to be doing a rally in I think
Yeah.
it was Michigan somewhere, and then he was already an hour late, so people were already getting restless. And then he sent a video of himself in the plane going, "I'm going to be there in 2 hours. I hope you'll wait for me." Everybody left.
Yeah.
I wonder how many views that Joe Rogan interview has.
You know, he has the biggest audience of any podcast.
Yeah, which I don't understand, but
Like 43 million or something crazy.
It's just right time, right place, kind of. I guess he's good at bringing different people, interviewing them, being kind of like a
He's
No,
good
he's a
at
lying
being
asshole.
an asshole. He's good at being an asshole.
simpleton, being kind of simpleton, asking questions, you know. All these simpletons want to ask, you know, it's like he represents something, you know.
Yeah. Yes.
He was pro Bernie, I think, right?
No, he's a right winger. He's a right winger.
all right.
All right, let me see. Jeannie, you need to pick up something. Let's do your, yeah, it's better. The second image better. Let's do your extinct birds. That's such a cute dog. Leave it. This is it. You cannot,
Okay,
it's good. Owners will be very happy.
I hope so.
And it has this, like, it looks at you. It has that quality, you know, you capture that. It's not easy thing to capture, you know. You did that.
Not quite.
Yes.
Oh, phew.
Okay, I'm leaving him now.
43 million subscribers. Let me check this thing. Unbelievable, right?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Ay. Mm.
So it's 1 day ago, 28 million watched that.
That's
The
great.
Seth Rogen thing?
Yeah.
Well, I hope they noticed how awful he was.
They don't.
No.
Oh, stop it. Yeah, I just turned it off. Yeah.
Why is my phone going crazy? Oh,
What happened to it?
I was like, why is my phone going crazy? I sent the picture to my sister because she's the one who commissioned the dog.
Yeah.
And she's like, very cute, love it, and her, and you.
So you see, that's it, it's done. Happy customer.
Now I just wanna, the doggy I did before, her bottom was bothering me, so I'm gonna fluff that a little bit.
Yeah. Deanna, what are you working on? Still?
Yeah, I'm still tinkering.
Okay, okay, do it.
I
Little touches.
yeah. Little. Little. Like I feel like Tinkerbell. Uh, it's just small things.
I just got Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
Okay. I just softened his little roll at the bottom just a tiny bit on this guy, but I think it makes a difference because it was bugging me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that tail, right? It needs something there.
It's not a tail. It's just a roll of his butt, but
Mm.
yeah, it was a little too distinct.
Yeah.
I could probably go on forever and ever and just tinker, tinker, tinker.
So do it until it's done and then abandon it. You just need to abandon it.
Yeah. Let's see, what's that? Yeah.
I always feel so wasteful, Lotto, when I I have my plate with still paint on it.
So do
Yeah.
something. Do underpaint for new canvas or something.
I've
That's
done
what-
that sometimes, but then it comes out so ugly when you mix all the colors together.
Oh,
Yeah, but
don't
you
mix
get
them.
you get the good background to paint on. I always, not always, but I mostly do that. Okay, I'm gonna take a last photo for today, and but what I do, Jeannie, I put plastic wrap over the paint.
And it
Oh,
stays.
wow, you can do that too, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do. So I'm painting with the paints I used today.
Ah,
Oh, wow.
I never thought of trying that.
Yeah. So I have a plastic wrap next to my seat.
Oh, Ethan, are you barfing for me? Thank you.
Yeah. Charming.
That's
Okay.
a good tip about plastic with a plastic wrap.
Yeah, I always do that. Okay, the last picture for today. I've been tinkering on the leaves. I don't know if
Okay.
it's
Yeah, nice, nice. I think you should stop. It's good.
I'll stop now.
It's good. We're almost done. We have like 7 minutes left.
Yeah. Okay, I'll stop here.
Lotto, have you listened to any Sondheim?
No. But then they played Sondheim over Christmas Eve, I think.
Mhm.
My sister-in-law whistled on national TV, you know?
I
One
saw
Sondheim with the whistling in it.
Anyone can whistle that song?
No, I don't
But
know
there's
what kind
no-
of song is that. Something from a woods, something from a.
There's a song about whistling from King and I.
I saw
Oh, no, they
company.
played it on the New Year's Eve on the national TV, New York Philharmonic. And she's like world champion in whistling.
No, that would, well, it might have been, they might have done that, but that wouldn't be the way it's usually done.
Into the woods or something woods. This is something
Yeah,
woods.
yeah, into the woods. Yeah,
Into
but
the
there's
woods.
no
That was
whistling
she,
in
yeah,
that.
she did something there. I watched her national on TV. Sondheim. He died recently, right?
A couple years ago.
Yeah. So he's a big fish in this world, right?
Very. Considered the best musical composer since, the mid 20th century.
Interesting. And he wrote librettos too, right?
He what?
He wrote texts too, librettos, right?
Yeah. Very clever lyricist.
Interesting guy. Wow.
He wrote the lyrics to West Side Story, but he didn't write the music.
Oh. I wonder what would be his taking on it. He could do it, right?
I don't think he'd do that to Leonard Bernstein. He was his mentor.
Bernstein is good. Bernstein is good, but he has some. What is his opera, Candide?
Uh-huh.
And the Trouble on Tahiti too, right? Is Bernstein.
Uh-huh.
This is bad. Trouble on Tahiti. It's like, you know what I'm talking about? Musical, right? Trouble on
Yeah,
Tahiti.
no, I know it. Yeah.
You see, I know more than you think I know. It's good.
Yeah. You ought to
Trouble
listen,
on
listen,
Tahiti.
listen
You are
to
very well read, Lado.
It's
listen to Bernstein's Mass. It's not a musical theater piece, but it's stunning.
I have Bernstein conducting, I think, all Mahler's symphonies, CDs. I have so many CDs, I don't have time, especially now with the kids. If you're putting something, it should be for all of us,
Yeah.
I could listen here, or I can listen in my studio downstairs. But like that isolation. Then in previous life, pre-kids life, I was just listening to music.
Yeah.
It was just me.
If you're a subscriber to PBS, there's a Bernstein's Mass that was in great performances, and usually you can go in and watch that stuff if you're a subscriber. And it's conducted by Marin Alsop. It's brilliant.
It's probably you can find on YouTube too.
Yeah, maybe, but they're like I've loved it since I was a kid, and they did a big production in New York a few years ago, and I bought myself a cheap ticket, and I was so excited at Lincoln Center, and I went, and it was just, it was awful.
Well,
So the Marin Alsop one, and Paul Zop, SZOP, I think is how his last name is spelled, or T.
You know what is
Jacques
open for me? Bernstein Bears, The Messy Room. Right here. Austin Symphonic Band performing Bernstein's Suite for Mass and Long Members Mass. Kennedy Center, 1981.
No. Put in Marin Alsop. It was done. It wasn't done at the Met.
Allsop?
ALSOP, Alsop. She's a brilliant conductor, and just put in great performances.
Marin
Bernstein
Alsop
Mass.
conducts Bernstein Kaddish, not different.
That's different.
okay, signed.
Yay! She finished it.
Yeah,
I decided it's done. I can't.
it's done. It's done. You need to abandon it. This is it. It's done.
And now I'm actually not gonna save the paint, or should I prime another? Because I said, but yes, because I said that, now I have to.
Now you're obligated to.
Yeah, and it's been standing there so long. It has spider web on it. Can you see the spider web?
Oh my God, I see it. I see it. It's very Dickensian image, almost like.
It's a real spider web. At work, we put those up.
Yeah,
they're
it's not
fake.
Halloweenish kind of. Okay, guys, I think we're done for today.
That is fantastic.
Yay!
So next week,
finished it.
probably.
And we
Annick will join us.
finished our assignments.
Yep.
Say it again.
We finished our assignments.
You did. I can't wait till Francesca will spray that thing, you know, that put the. Like, I like revealing things, and she will take that, and it's like nice, or not. So.
I don't know what I'm gonna do next time. I hope I can find time to come because I have so
Yeah,
many.
if you find time to come, we're gonna do some jelly print making.
Ah,
Well, I've finished my commissions, but I may get some more. But I'm hoping. I'm like I wanted to get these done before I go in for surgery, and I got them
What
done.
surgery?
Oh, on November 7th, I have a large tumor on my thyroid, so they're removing the tumor and the thyroid.
Is it benign?
They think so. Yes.
Oh, okay. So you'll be okay.
Yeah. It's not. It's. I'm getting a biopsy on it, but they said the characteristics are not that it's cancerous, so
yeah,
okay.
they can pretty much see that on
they can
ultrasound.
tell. Yeah.
Yeah, especially nowadays, it's yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So November 7th, huh?
Mhm.
Day of Russian Revolution, and the
Is
birthday
it?
of my daughter Una. Okay,
I'll
guys.
send Nostrovia when I'm done.
All right, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay, and you're gonna get a lot of energy. If that takes energy, probably, you know.
Oh yeah.
All right.
And I'll see you next weekend. So I have one more
Okay.
weekend before.
Yeah,
right, so I'm
gonna try to be there.
All right.
Yay!
So
Okay.
let's do jelly printing. Let's do jelly printing. Seriously, it's like yeah. Okay. Bye, guys.
Maybe.
Bye.